Hey, welcome back to Matter of Fact. Today is October 1st, coming off that Monday night doubleheader. We didn't give our picks for the week. Boy, Austin was sick. How you feeling, bro?
Feeling better, feeling better. Ready to get back to work.
For sure, for sure. So we're going to do things a little bit differently today. It's week 5. We've been kind of hammering the point that the season doesn't start until about week 5, week 6 or so, and this is the first like roundup of bye weeks here. So we're going to give kind of an idea of who's contenders, who's pretenders, who might be buying or selling at the trade deadline coming up here in week 9, and we're just going to run through the games that way. So we're going to start with Thursday night. Obviously, both of our teams, we were able to rest easy this weekend, knowing the outcomes of this game. But yeah, what's your takeaways from this game? The run defense showed up. I think we averaged less than 2 yards a carry. I know we were really trying to
Yeah.
exploit that.
I mean, I know a lot of people, at least especially after the game or whatever, they were trying to downplay the win. I'm talking Cowboy fans. They wanted to see a blowout. In my eyes, honestly, like not trying to shade y'all, but like I've seen us blow out the Giants a bunch of times, and when it's time for us to, play a tough, muddy game, we get smacked in the mouth. This was a game that you guys again intentionally came out here and decided that we wanted to muddy this game up. We want to control the clock, control the tempo, control the pace, and we were able to grind it out, and we were able to win the football game. We were able to manage 2 touchdowns in the first half, and those 2 touchdowns were the points that ended up saving us throughout the game. Uh, People have the opinions. They feel as if if they played a better QB, they probably would have lost. But at the end of the day, Daniel Jones, the game that he played and the throws that he missed, a lot of QBs in the NFL missed those throws. And he was solid on third down. He kept moving the chains. We basically had to play a bend but don't break defense, and we were going up against a coach that is known for his offensive mind. So, with what we were dealing with the past 2 weeks, for us to come out there and just play winning football, I'm gonna take my win and I'm going back to Dallas. Like I don't really care what anyone has to say about that, because when any other team wins ugly, nobody says a word. They just count it as a W. So I'm going to do the same thing.
Nah, I definitely feel that. I mean, that was the name of the game. We really wanted to establish the run, and we weren't able to do that. Obviously, that's the mindset teams are going to go into playing the Cowboys,
Right.
as they came in there being like the worst rush defense in the league, and at least against us, they put that to bed. Um, Obviously, Devin Singletary, he's like leading the league, or was leading the league in missed
He was
tackles. So I thought we were able
yeah.
to. I thought we were going to be able to really exploit that. You saw some of that skill set show on that fourth down where he like narrowly escaped the defender, and it really should have been a tackle for loss. You saw some of that, but we weren't really able to get that going. In terms of the standings, though, Washington is leading. They're 3-1. They're on the 3-game win streak. Now, I think that they should be. I think everyone in the division should be 2-2, but it's football. We didn't come prepared with our kicker. It is what it is, and the NFC East is always interesting every year. And everybody's on the Jaden Daniel train right now, and I don't blame them. This is why you go quarterback until you find your quarterback, and it seems like we have another viable quarterback in the NFC East. How you feeling about where you guys stand? And let's look at the next couple games. I know we mentioned that you guys kind of have a gauntlet coming up, but you know,
Right.
Steelers
And
beatable, Lions, like you said,
we we
you beat
also
them last year.
right. Well, and also we get a bye in between there. Um, This Pittsburgh game, not gonna lie, we think we're good at football. If we think that we're a playoff caliber team, you gotta come up with that win. We're missing Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence now, so players are going to have to step up. Mozzie did a good job of doing that on Thursday. He showed, I guess you could say, first round potential. He showed at least that he could play football in the NFL, and we're going to go up against the same thing. We're going to go up against a better center in Zach Frazier, who I think want to say was either drafted in the early second round of this year's NFL draft, West Virginia Mountaineer for legend. And we're just gonna have to go out there and this is gonna be on the offense. This is a similar game to what we play with you guys, which is why I do have confidence in winning, because every time I talk about Mike Tomlin, I'm always talking about how this is a classic Mike Tomlin game and they want to muddy it up and they want to play a certain way. Well, in order for him to not be able to muddy it up, you're going to have to score 2 touchdowns again. At least 2 touchdowns. You might need 3 in order to make sure that they can't do anything with you. But if we can't get into the end zone, if we run in a stale offense, and, I think right now the only running back they have outside of like the quarterback being able to run is Najee Harris. I think both of the backup running backs, Cordell Patterson and Jalen Warren, are both hurt, both injured. So,
he got hurt during that game?
Yeah, Cordell Patterson did. And then Jalen Warren didn't even play. So, they're depleted too. We're 2 depleted teams. Yeah, we're down Micah, who you would love to have, versus the speed of Justin Fields, and we're down D-Law. But at the end of the day, you still got your majority. I mean, your starting offensive line intact. You still got CeeDee Lamb playing. You still got Dak Prescott. This is going to be an offensive game, and you need to have an offensive mindset coming out. Hopefully, the defense can just find a way to keep the game close, stop the run, and we can pull this one out in Pittsburgh. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it is for sure possible.
Nah, for sure. And on the Giants end of things, Daniel Jones, I think that was like the staple. I mean, that was the definition of that game. Is basically how I feel about Daniel Jones in a nutshell. Like, he didn't lose us the game, but he doesn't elevate our team to win a game like this. We scored no touchdowns. We're in the red zone often. We kicked, Greg Joseph was 5 for 5 from, kicking field goals, which was great. That would have been nice against Washington. But if we could score a touchdown, maybe we're talking a different outcome here. And with DJ, he's just simply put, he's not good enough. He's just not good enough. And this is why I'm going to be scouting quarterbacks still. This is why I think this is his last year as our quarterback. Hey, maybe Milrow.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just saying. If you scouting quarterbacks, where I think
he's definitely at the top of it. He's definitely at the top of my list for sure.
I don't know if y'all be good enough to get the number 1 quarterback on the board, but Cam Ward. I can see Cam Ward.
This is why I'm rooting for Will Levis to get his shit together. This is
I don't think even if you do, I don't think that matters, bro. I think they're going QB.
It's early. We're only a quarter way through the season, but yeah, man. I mean, the kid's just not good enough. Like, simple. Like, he played well. He was efficient, but some of those deep balls, he's underthrowing a lot of these deep balls. We're not able to really utilize Jalen Hyatt's skill set or Darius Slayton's skill set as these deep ball receivers who stretch the field, which is a great combo when you think about it with the do-it-all Malik Neighbors. You have Wandale coming out the slot. We're not really able to do much else. I mean, I think he had Malik Neighbors had about 12 catches. I think Wandale had 10 or 11. We got to get the tight ends more involved, and Daniel Jones.
You just need more from the catches too. Like, it's Like Wandale again. He was probably maybe two catches away from like almost having close to about 85 yards, but he dropped it on the 1/3 down where he almost but I mean 11 catches for like 69 yards. You know what I'm saying? It's like you need your guy to you need Daniel Jones to attack these defenses. I will say one of the things that you guys did was you guys found our cornerback too. You guys found him. Y'all were like, all right, who is cornerback two on this team? That's where we're getting the ball to the point where we had to start putting Trayvon on Neighbors. He had to start following Neighbors. It was like, yo, this is
when Dayball was able to try to exploit that, he tried to. Obviously, if you guys are in zone, we're able to run that motion.
Shit, y'all was still I'm telling y'all was still because I mean y'all attacked our cornerback two so bad that the starter ended up benched by the second half. He was benched. His name, I think I want to say Andrew Booth.
Andrew Booth, he's also a rookie, ain't he?
Nah, he's been in the league for about 3 years now. But
really?
He was a highly touted rookie at one point in time in his college career. He played at Clemson. He's supposed to come out as like, first round pick. He has all the measurables. He has all of it. But I mean, shit. I mean, that game film, he's fired. I mean, he got fired at halftime. And it's just, again, every aspect of football, like little nuances like that shows you how important every aspect of a football team is. Yeah, your starting cornerback might not be the best cornerback, but trust me, that drop off between your starting cornerbacks and the backups is something that's unimaginable. And we're talking about the cornerback position. And we already know, obviously, the height of it when it's the QB or the left tackles or guard. Once your starters are out, I mean, you got to. I wish we would have attacked Cordell Flott the way that y'all was getting at our guys, our second guy.
I mean, y'all were trying to. Y'all just needed the better matchup. He was kind of doing his thing against Brandon Cooks, but
right. This way you need a bigger body out there. You need to do something. You need to run something outside of curls. But again, it is what it is. Like I said, it was a nasty game on offense. They did enough to win, so I'm not going to get mad. But even like what you're saying, we were lucky enough to get those 2 touchdowns. For whatever reason it was, one nice play by Dak Prescott, one nice play by Rico Dowdle, nice call on the screen. But that made the game. That helped us win. And then our defense was able to bend but not break. We're going to need them to play a similar game. I mean, it's going to be the same.
It's going to be the same formula, except the Justin Fields, he might be a little bit more dynamic in terms of what he might be able to do there, and then Tomlin and that defense. The thing about Dayball, and this is why I implored Giants fans to stop this talk about getting him and Shane out of there. This has been a good draft class for us, so draft class check. Micah McFadden's been one of the better linebackers in the league. He was a late round pick a few years back. So check on Shane. And then Dayball, he just makes Daniel Jones look better than he actually is through the play calling and doing what he can do with what he has. And yeah, but we don't want to go too much on a tangent with this one. Obviously, this is our teams, both of our teams. So we're going to have a lot to say. But, Dak played a very efficient game. We controlled time of possession. I mean, it's insane to control time of possession that much without having a run game. I mean, since it's kind of insane if you're watching the game or even if you look at some of the stats for the game in terms of third down conversions, fourth down conversions that we had to do often. And to do that without a running game, just imagine if we had a more dynamic, more accurate, and just an overall better quarterback. But, that's going to be the name of the game for us. And, yeah, we're 1-3. Y'all are 2-2, Eagles 2-2. And then, Washington hasn't played. Y'all are the Eagles. So those division games are going to be real important coming up. But, yeah, let's move on to the next game because, we went on our little rant. Where are you at? All right. Next up, Saints Falcons. This was a close one. Young Hoku, he put the team on his back low key, last minute 58 yarder. He's been real accurate. I remember when he was with the Chargers and he missed a bunch of kicks and they had to let him go. That's kind of how it goes with the kickers. You missing too many kicks, got to get you out of there. But he's been really good for the Falcons. Important game that they won here. But what were your takeaways from this?
I mean, takeaways, Saints kind of come back to earth. They got hit with the injury bug. It's a big deal. I just said they were out. They were without their best offensive lineman, their center, and they had to play with a backup center. Derek Carr kind of doing some nut shit over there with that little deflection off the screen pass. But I mean, at the end of the day, Falcons, they were able to pull it out. Kirk Cousins is looking like he has more confidence in himself, staying in the pocket with people around him, taking hits. They played good, and they pulled it out. It was well deserved. The defense gave himself in points, and Kirk did his thing with the game winning drive. Also, shout out to Young Hoku smacking it from 50 something yards, 56 yards or something like 58. That, 58 yards. Yeah, so you gotta, that's an all around team effort right there, and that's what playoff teams do. That's what good football. That's good football. 3 phases, all 3 phases. They played well. From a player standpoint, though, it does seem like the Kyle Pitts experience is near the end. It looks like he's going to be a good football player, maybe a starter. But
now, when you say near the end, you don't mean like for their team, but it's almost like, all right, clearly he wasn't worth the 4th pick. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like the expectations of him becoming this superstar game changing type tight end. I think we can give that a rest for now. I think right now the only thing that they need to kind of he and the Atlanta Falcons need to focus on is just him getting his confidence back. And I mean, even his explosion, I don't know if it's the injury. I don't know if it's just a little bit of everything. The pressure of being the 4th overall pick, the pressure of, all of that going into it. But he just doesn't look, he's just not even open. He's not getting open. There's no explosiveness from this guy. And, it's really unfortunate because he's supposed to be the ultimate mismatch. He's mismatched. He's supposed to be the ultimate chess piece. And it doesn't look like he'll ever really become that right now. This is still like a 23 or 24-year-old football player. And Travis Kelce didn't become Travis Kelce until he was like 25, 26. So I don't want to rule it out, but it just looks like he's not going to exceed the expectations that comes with being the 4th overall pick in the NFL draft in 2021.
Man, forget exceed. Can he match it?
That's what I'm saying.
It's not looking like that. And then you have Kirk Cousins, who, he was just playing with TJ Hawkinson. Kirk Cousins, they brought him in there because he's a veteran. He's accurate. He doesn't give you anything in terms of improvising out the pocket, but you got him in there with the weapons that they have. You would expect Kyle Pitts to be someone who's exploding off the statue, exploding off the field.
If he's open, Kirk Cousins is going to hit him. Like, this isn't a Kirk Cousins thing because his star player was Justin Jefferson when he was with the Vikings, and his star player or his top wide receiver is Drake London, and Drake London's getting 12 targets. You know what I mean? And Darnell Mooney is involved. He's been involved almost every single week, I think, outside of maybe like the first or second. I think outside the first week.
Shout out to him. Underrated pickup by the Falcons there. I like what they're doing roster-wise. And with them, they have let me go back to it. They have 2 division games coming up. So these next 2 games for them are going to be extremely important with the Bucks and the Panthers. We knew coming into this year that this division was going to be extremely interesting. The Bucks are up 3-1, while the Falcons and the Saints are 2-2, and the Panthers made that change at quarterback, where now they're 1-3, and I think they wouldn't have any wins along with the Jags if they didn't make that move. So it's not as much as a of a gimme as it was before. So that division should be really interesting. Let's see if they could keep it up. I mean, the Falcons seem like they're going to be in a lot of close ones. That's what they've kind of been over the years. They've been in a lot of close ones. It really comes down to the wire with them. But like I said, I like what they're doing. That Bucks game is going to be really interesting, though. I can't wait to see how that division shapes out. But I mean, you got anything else on this game, really?
Nah, I mean it was a tight, close division game. Shout out Saints back to earth. 0-2 ever since they smashed it. Ever since they had that Super Bowl party against the Cowboys.
See, now
0-2.
I will give you that that was like a Super Bowl for them. The Ravens' sake, I still can't get behind.
Right,
But
fair
the
enough,
Saints,
fair enough, fair
but the
enough. But I
Saints
saw the Saints have a parade.
yeah. And like we keep talking about too, it's right there. Like I could drive from Houston to NOLA in 5 hours. So that flight real smooth. The drive to Dallas ain't too bad. And back down to earth is the best way to describe it. We didn't think the Saints were going to be all that. 2-2 seems more their speed right now. That's what makes sense to me coming into the season. But yeah, so now we got the Bengals went to Carolina. This was looking close for a bit, but this was one that the Bengals needed to have. They can't come out here 0-4 in that division. And then the Panthers put up a good fight. Xavier Leggett is doing his thing, but yeah, the Bengals always slow starters. Up next, they have the Ravens. Should be pretty interesting. Then they have the Giants, Browns. So I don't know how to feel about the Bengals. Now they have T. Higgins back in the mix. That combo of Chase Brown and Zach Moss is looking like a pretty decent replacement for Joe Mixon's production there. But what are your takeaways on this one?
I mean, my takeaways are, shout out to not Cincinnati. Shout out to Carolina. Shout out to Andy Dalton. Shout out to Deontay Johnson, Chuba Herbert. Like, I mean, the offense is kind of rolling now. Obviously they don't have enough probably on defense to compete with a team with as many dogs as the Cincinnati Bengals. But I mean, the offense looks night and day for Carolina, and they're able to evaluate the players now. And people don't know how important that is to be able to evaluate the players that you have on your team. But when your quarterback isn't playing well, it's kind of hard to know what you got in all these other guys. And it looks like Chuba is actually like a pretty solid piece for them. Deontay Johnson looks like the number one wide receiver that they were expecting to have, and they are playing through him. And Xavier Leggett had his first awesome game as a rookie, and this is just week 4. So you know what I mean? Like so now who the decision makers, the front office, player personnel guys, they can tell like, okay, we got a little bit of stuff here. We're not just missing on everything that we pick. So that's awesome. Good for them. They deserve it. And as for the Bengals, it's time for them to kind of hanker down. Me personally, I think it was a week a little bit too late for them, but lucky for them, there's an extra game on the schedule.
What do you mean by that? Like the way they started might really fuck them at the end. Is that what you're saying?
It could. I mean, like I was about to say, they have the benefit of the extra game and the extra playoff seed, but you're already down 3 games. You haven't even played a division rival yet, and maybe you sweep one of them, but are you sweeping 2 and 3 of them? You're probably splitting. Odds are you're probably splitting with the Ravens, and you probably split with either or the Steelers or Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just because it's a division rival game.
And that's the Browns. That's your best chance of sweeping anybody in that division. And now Nick Chubb is back practicing. So
right. So you know what I mean? And anything can still happen. It's any given Sunday, but we're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that they can beat these teams. But odds are they're not about to sweep their whole division. And so if we even just give them the 2 losses, not saying that they split, but they get but they're getting 2 losses out of that. That already got them to 5 losses. They still got to play Philly, who I get it. It's a shit show right now, but like who knows what it is on that day. They still got to play Dallas. They still have a tough schedule is basically what I'm alluding to. And, for them to already drop three games this early in the season, they don't have as much room for error as they probably would like at this point.
And not like what they were expecting either. I mean, you come out week one, yeah, you don't have T. Higgins, but you got to win that Patriots game. The Patriots look like what we thought they were. At first they're like, not saying they're on some dark horse shit, but it looked like they weren't going to be a pushover type team. And y'all kind of gave them juice in the beginning of the season. It feels like they try to give you a layup with that. You lose to Kansas City by a point, and then you lose to Washington by 5. And those are the type of games that you look back at the end of the season like, damn, if we just had those, we'd be in a lot better place. We might win the division instead of being a wild card.
Yeah, I'll even go as far as to say that the Patriots loss is the loss that's probably going to end up getting them, because that's
100%.
an AFC foe, and if all the other teams that play the Patriots are beating the Patriots, when it comes to that tiebreaker, they're going to lose the tiebreaker because of the loss to the Patriots. So you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. And like again, they have time to get it fixed, but it's a very, very, very tight string that they have to walk on right now.
Yeah, so the Steelers, they're 3-1. Ravens, they're 2-2. So this next game against the Ravens, it's a 1:00 game. Very important game for the division, just like every division game is. But if you could go 2-3 and make the Ravens 2-3, that'll be huge. And with the Panthers, they're just trying to see what they got, like Austin mentioned. They're just trying to see what they got. And with Andy Dalton under center, we're getting to see what some of those pieces are looking like. And they didn't even have Adam Thielen got hurt in the middle of the game, right?
Well, he got hurt last game. He came down with a touchdown.
Right.
He got hurt last game, which is
Right.
why Xavier Legette got the opportunities. And it looks like they got a solid little core with those two, Xavier Legette and Deontay Johnson. So that's awesome.
And then
at least you have something to watch.
And we still haven't seen their second round pick and Jonathan Brooks play yet. So, we'll see if that could give them a little boost too.
Don't be surprised if you don't see him as early as you were expecting to. He still might be active once he gets off a pup, and he might have like a little bit of a package. But I mean, if Chuba's running like this and playing so well, I don't think that it's going to be a clean okay, we're going to let this kid that's fresh off of a torn ACL come in and get 25 touches a game. I think he'll still be incorporated into the offense. And maybe if Chuba and Miles Sanders couldn't get anything going with the run game, they probably would have been, willing to give him way more touches. But I think now what they got with Chuba, I think they're going to kind of ease him in, take his time, let him get anywhere between 8 to 10 touches, after we know for a fact he's healed. And I think maybe near the end of the season or early next season is when you're going to see Jonathan Brooks come on the scene like ready to go.
Yeah, I would give that at least a couple more weeks, and then we'll see how they incorporate them. Should be a dynamic backfield there, but let's move on to the next game. Rams, Bears in Chicago. This was a game that, in terms of the matchup, I was expecting the Rams to take home. It was really close, but the Bears keep getting in these close ones. The Rams are clearly beat up. And, coming into this year, thought that division would be very interesting as well. The Vikings are 4-0, Lions 3-1, and the Packers are 2-2 with having Jordan Love only played like half a game up until this past weekend. So that's going to be tough. We'll see how the Bears end up with that. And then on the Rams end of things, they're what? They're 1-3. Cardinals are 1-3. Seahawks are 3-1. But with their injuries, they're looking really beatable. And the Niners, they're going to have their injury bugs here and there. It's been kind of their thing for the past decade. But with Kyle Shanahan coaching, it's any given Sunday with them, no matter who they push out. But how'd you feel about, Caleb Williams and his performance here?
I mean, I actually had Chicago winning this game. I just felt the public was really on Rams, and I was just like, this is definitely a spot where the Bears could end up pulling it out at home. As for Caleb Williams, I mean, this was what I was afraid of the entire time. He's kind of a prisoner of the offensive coordinator. People think that DJ Moore is upset with Caleb Williams. He's not. He's upset with the play call. He's upset with the way the offense is looking right now.
I think it might be a combo of both, maybe like a 70-30 split. Like,
I mean, but you can't get mad. I mean, yeah.
Well, Caleb not being mad at Caleb. I don't want to put it like that. But he is missing him on. I mean, he's getting open. He's getting that separation.
Throws, but DJ Moore, if we go down the list of quarterbacks that DJ Moore has played with, he's used to quarterbacks missing throws. You know what I'm saying? It's never pissed him off before. He
did like Justin Fields, so I think that is a part of it. But I do think it's mainly the play calling, and that was the thing coming into this year, which was you're keeping Matt Eberflus. He's a defensive coach.
It's Shane Waldron.
The Bears. Yeah, I'm hip. But I'm saying you could have brought in an offensive coach, and then you wouldn't really be thinking about Shane Waldron.
Or just not bring in Shane Waldron. You know what I'm saying? Like, or just pick a better offensive coordinator. Facts. And again, it's funny because we all bitch about, I want my offensive coordinator, or at least Cowboy fans, where we want our coordinator from the Kyle Shanahan tree. Well, guess what? Shane Waldron's from that tree. But just because all the other fruits bear, you know what I'm saying? They come to bear fruit, all those other trees, all the other plants, you're gonna get one bad apple. And Shane Waldron is the bad apple. Okay, he is the bad apple. He finally broke up with Gerald Everett. He finally let that go, and now we're getting a little bit of stuff from Cole Kmet. I think, hopefully we'll be able to get some more production from the wide receivers. Roman Doomsday's a stud. It's not like these cats aren't good football players. It's just like you can't be vanilla with your scheme in 2024. You can't. We're running too high. So if you're sending everybody deep, we got no motion. We have no crossing routes. We have no play action. You know what I mean? We have nothing. This is it's not gonna look good for the number one wide receivers. And Caleb Williams also he needs easy throws. All these cats can make easy throws, but if they're forced to make tough throws, it makes everything just look harder. They did their thing. DeAndre Swift, I'm so sick and tired of his shit. I fucking finally benched him, and he want to go for 29 points. I'm so tired of this man. But it's just, again, he played well.
I'm a Roshan Johnson owner, so I was hoping he got a little bit more burn. They did invest some money into him, so maybe that has something to do with it. Give him more of a chance. They came out and said that they might give Roshan or Khalil Herbert some more burn, but
that was never a accredited source that stated that. Someone basically alleged that this is possibly what could be happening, and Twitter just ran with it like it was an official report. But
how much do you think that was, an attempt to be like a kick in the ass for DeAndre Swift? Like, hey, bro, we're gonna leak this. And
I think that was
still going to get your touches, but just letting you on the hot seat in terms of really running that room.
Personally, just from like really, really tracking and watching and trying to understand where some of this stuff comes from, I think that was just a journalistic take. I think that was a take from a beat writer stating his opinion, and because it was a strong opinion, they just ran with it. Kind of like how Earlier in the offseason, they were saying that Javonte Williams wasn't going to be on Denver. He was going to get cut. And it was like nobody from this camp has said that. That was a beat writer's opinion based off of who was drafted, who drafted Javonte Williams, who was on the roster. You know, it is just, I think it was just one of those things. Oh, why not let Roshan Johnson get some more touches this week? He looked good last week. Yeah. And then from him saying that and stating an opinion, I think where we're at these days with the sports social media and everything, we're trying to get clicks, we're trying to get impressions. That got changed around as a full report. I know it got sent into our group chat like it was gospel, but I don't listen to the motherfucker that sends that shit into the group chat. But it's just like, you know what I mean? People read that, they want to hear it, they want it to be true. So, oh yeah, we like that. It's true. And that's not always the case. Not always the case.
Yeah. Yeah, but that division up for grabs for sure. The Vikings are looking crazy, but we'll get to them. In terms of the Rams, though, I mean, it's kind of like what could you do? What could you do? But I feel like that division, they could still come back around and do something. Sean McVay's doing all he can with what he has, but I thought this was a really winnable game. Bears keep squeaking out these close ones, but yeah, Shane Waldron just seems like he's kind of freelancing the offense right now. Last week, you can't have Caleb throwing 50 plus times, and you know one of the caveats that came to Caleb was some of his, like some of those plays where he's
they were playing from behind.
Much. I know they were playing from behind, but still, I mean, what was the Bears week 3? Week 4, week 3.
Indianapolis Colts.
It was against the Colts. It's not like they had a crazy lead. I mean, that game 21-16, 33 for 52. I mean, let's look at the scoring summary. So Jonathan Taylor scored in the second quarter, field goal. It's not showing up on
the screen for some reason.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at it from somewhere else. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So field goal from the Bears, then a Trey Sermon touchdown. So going into the fourth quarter, it was 14-3. It's not like they were super down the entire time to be throwing. I mean,
I'm down two. I'm down 2 possessions. We got to empty it. We got to do something. I mean, I'm still going to run.
But if you believe in the defense, which the defense is playing well, and you have Anthony Richardson, who's turnover prone. I don't know. But either way,
they his own,
yeah, like they, I think the Bears. There's better times ahead in terms of the offense gelling. It's a new offensive coordinator, rookie quarterback. You guys had 4 draft picks. And
block out the noise. I know it's hard to do. Everybody impatient. We talk about this every week. Block out the noise. Caleb Williams is 20. Jaden Daniels is 24. All right, like let's calm down.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I promise you, when Caleb Williams is 24, it's going to be sweet. I promise you, it's going to be sweet. Just let him get there. Keep him up. Keep him alive until he can reach C24, and I promise you, it'll be all good for you.
Yeah, he'll be straight, and I like how he's dealing with adversity. Chicago is not an easy sports town to just come in there and be the savior. So I think he's doing well in terms of, keeping it together mentally and being a leader of that team. So, but next game. Hold on. All right. So next up, we got the Vikings Packers. The score, the final score is a little bit deceiving because, this was an ass beating throughout the game. It kind of reminds me of you guys against the Ravens and how, you guys came back at the end, but the game never really felt like it was really up for grabs. So, what's your takeaway from this really important division game?
It's an important division game. Right now, Minnesota's just clicking on all cylinders. I'd go as far as to say that they're actually the only team that looks good in the NFL right now. Like, they're the only team that looks like they haven't You know what I mean? Didn't start playing football week one. The defense is killing it, clicking on all cylinders. Run game is doing well. They're creating turnovers, creating pressures, just making it hard for QBs. Obviously, Jordan Love was a little hobbled throughout the game, and once he got in the rhythm and once he got more comfortable, he started playing better. By that point, it was a little bit too late for his football team. However, I think he'll be fine from here on out. I think that the Packers don't want to be in a position where they have to throw the ball like that. But again, it's a division game. Vikings knew they needed to steal this one. Aaron Jones revenge game. Jay Jettis is just going to always be Jay Jettis. And Sam Darnold is just looking like a solid quarterback right now. I mean, some people are, I mean, I don't know if that's going to hold up, but some people got tickets for this man to win MVP. For sure, comeback player of the year. But I mean, there's not much you can say about a team that's 4-0. Got a solid defensive coordinator, got a solid head coach,
Solid
calling
is an
plays.
understatement and a half.
Right. So, you know what I mean? Right now it's hard to find some deficiencies as long as they're staying healthy. They're looking like a force to be reckoned with. Now, this is a long season. We'll see how it all goes because Sam Darnold still got that Sam Darnold in him. He still gives you a few plays where you're like, hey, yo, what come on. But again, you're working with a backup quarterback. This is really all you can ask for. He's doing way more than what anybody probably expected. So I mean, hey, hats off. They did what they had to do to close it out. 28 points real early on these boys, and they just held on to the lead.
Yeah. In terms of the Packers, I think their kicker's a rookie. Missed a couple. He's been missing, so that definitely doesn't help. But yeah, that's the reason why I was so confident with Minnesota getting the upset here was because Jordan Love is coming back from that injury, and he kind of needs to get back in the swing of things. But I think he's going to be clicking against the Rams, who they have up next. And like you said, the Vikings are only getting healthier. They were doing all this without Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison had a touchdown this game.
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. Shit, let me
Those plays were
put some respect on his name real quick. Yep, 72 yards and it says he got
one was an end around. Go, you see right there with the Russian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they finding ways to get their other guys the ball and stuff like that. This is a good football team with offensive weapons that are maximizing their offensive weapons. I would love to come in here one day and talk about how my football team was calling it like this. I would love to do that, but they got the coach right now. It looks like this not Gary Kubriak,
Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell. Looks like Kevin O'Connell is leading the way for coach of the year. Sure. Him and Mike McDonald were up until obviously the unfortunate loss yesterday, but it looks like he's the front runner right now, and Sam Darnold is the front runner for comeback player of the year. They're just looking good. I know we got a lot of football left. We haven't hit the winter time yet. It is in November. The leaves ain't even on the ground yet, but they're looking good. They're looking good, and I it's hard for me to find any type of deficiencies with this football team right now.
Yeah, they just came in the season looking extremely buttoned up, and it doesn't feel fluky. It doesn't feel like the Saints. It doesn't feel like any of these teams where we weren't expecting much. I think with the Vikings, it was like, all right, they have J.J. McCarthy, Sam Darnold's going to back them up, but we believe in the head coach, and they should come out. They might be 2-2 by now, but they're one of them and the Chiefs, I believe, they're only undefeated teams. Yeah, I mean,
and they're playing cleaner than the Chiefs are.
Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%. So with them, that division, we came in thinking this division is going to be the most interesting, and it's living up to expectations. Each division game with the NFC North is going to be crucial. It's going to be crucial. The Lions are 3-1, and then the Packers and Bears are both 2-2. So it's really going to be about who's winning those matchups, who can sweep their matchups, and when is T.J. Hawkinson expected back?
I mean, he's on IR right now, so the 4 week, the 21-day period will be once he's off of IR. I don't think that he's been activated off of the pub or off of the injury reserve yet. So I mean, that could be any time. I don't know where he's at, but he's probably about a month out. Probably around Halloween, where he'll probably be in his 21-day grace period, and then from there, I mean, probably play second week of November. I would probably guess right before the Thanksgiving games.
Gotcha. But yeah, the story of this game. This was a blowout in the beginning, and they just kept it lean. This is what
Christian
good
Watson
teams
got
do.
hurt. Christian Watson got hurt. Romeo, I mean, I know everybody's a little bit gets a little murky when it comes to the wide receiver shares over there in Green Bay, but it looks as if it's Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, the ultimate playmaker, and Dontavian Wicks.
Dontavius Wicks.
Those look like the three wide receivers that they're running out with. There wasn't that much Bo Milton. It wasn't that much of even Luke Musgrave. It looked like that was a Tucker Craft show. And yeah, I
So
just
so so that's another thing, and we're doing our fantasy show tomorrow. We sprinkled fantasy a little bit throughout all of our recaps and all of our previews, but we're doing a dedicated fantasy show tomorrow. And Tucker Craft, outsnapped Luke Musgrave 65 to 25 snaps. Now, from what I saw in that game when I went back to watch it and some of their other games, that boy Luke Musgrave is terrible in pass pro, and Tucker Craft should be tight end one moving forward in terms of how gritty he is, in terms of his
the
blocking, and
only
then
I
go
agree
ahead.
with everything that you're saying. The only thing that I would watch out for is that they were down by so much early that they had to throw really crazy. And I don't always like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, that's not going to always be the game script. So yeah, what he's saying is that it looks as if Tucker Craft is the tight end one on his team, but keep an eye out on your expectations in regards to the production that he's going to be giving you, week in, week out.
I'm really confident in Tucker Craft. I mean, he just might be just better all around.
Well, no,
But
no, no. I'm not saying
like you said,
he beat him out as the tight end one. Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah. I'm just saying don't go to his box score and see, oh, he scored a touchdown. Oh, he had 10 targets, da 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 da, and think like he getting 10 targets every week. That's not necessarily going to be the case.
and spoiler alert for anybody in my leagues. I don't know when we're going to get this out, but definitely someone who I'm targeting and stashing is Tucker Craft along with Dontavius Wicks. How long was Christian Watson out? What was his injury?
He had an ankle sprain. I think it might have been a high ankle sprain, but they haven't announced what it is yet. So
And
right now we're just going
injuries have kind of been plaguing Christian Watson anyway, and you can
right.
never know. I mean, so Jaden Reed 59 snaps, Wicks 58, Romeo Dobbs 65. You kind of never know with them. They kind of it's a good problem to have. You have a bunch of good young receivers. It's one of the youngest teams in the league. You have Matt LaFleur coaching these boys up, amazing. So, and then you have Josh Jacobs doing his thing. Emmanuel Wilson, the backup running back, is getting a little bit of burn there. Give him some relief. But yeah, I mean, this is a solid team. Jordan Love's back in the mix, and those games where they pushed out Malik Willis and he was able to keep them afloat is really going to be important to how this division ends up. And yeah, um, yeah. Besides that, I mean, you got anything else on this game? Vikings looking dirty. Um, Packers. They're going to be fine. Actually, one last thing I want to check with them is these matchups coming up. Um, so the Vikings have the Jets, and then they have the Lions. Okay, Rams, Cardinals. Look out for this division where everyone. I mean, this is what everyone's thinking. It's gonna be tough. But the Vikings, I feel like they're definitely gonna win this division, because it just doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel like this is just some early season BS and they're gonna come back down to earth. I think this is who they are as a team. But next up, Jags Texans. Jags 0-4. That's tough. That's tough. Your boy Trevor Lawrence. What's good with your boy, man?
I don't know
That's
how
your
he. I
man's.
don't know how he ended up my guy,
That's
but I
your
mean,
guy.
I'm gonna stand with the same thing, bro. If he had a better offensive coordinator, I think that he'd be perfectly fine. I think if he was with the Detroit Lions, he'd be perfectly fine. I think he was with the Vikings, he'd be perfectly fine. If he was with the Saints, he'd be perfectly fine. So it's like, I mean, I don't know what to say because I don't think that I'm going to change my mind about the fact that he don't have no easy throws. He has to make every single play. And that shit is hard to do. I watch a quarterback do it every single Sunday. And he just makes it look easy, but it's hard to do. It's tough to do. So, you know what I mean? Like again, and Trevor Lawrence, I mean, his team was up. His team, his team was they were up the entire game, and it was just a fourth quarter comeback. They had the ball going into the end zone, and for whatever reason, the offensive coordinator or head coach decides to call a QB draw. I mean, Tink Bisbee just ran off a 55 yarder, and what we're going to do is just run the ball on fourth down with the quarterback draw. So I mean, again, it is what it is. If they want to give up on Trevor Lawrence or whatever, it's
Oh, that's
he
not
is a
happening.
public,
They just
yeah.
paid that boy. So it seems like, I mean, all right. So let's say they end the season, I don't know, five wins, 5, 6 wins. You think Doug Peterson's out of there and they
I
just
think he's
gotta
gone before then. I think he might be gone next week. Like, bro, you can't. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like this. It's not good over there. Trevor, he's getting nothing really from Travis Etienne. And you think Bigsby is running well, and it's clear that they got something with their rookie wide
13,
receiver with
13 yards per carry.
Brian Thomas. So it's like they got guys. I mean, he was feeding Christian Kirk. What was he doing on third down? What was the third down percentage? You know what I mean? Like what was my man doing on third down?
Where is that? What is that? 4 for 12? Yeah, 4 for 12.
4 for 12. You know what I'm saying? Because when I'm seeing him target Christian Kirk on third down, which is who he should be targeting on third down. And Brian Thomas is the game breaker. Gabe Davis is done. If you got him on your team, cut him. Hopefully Evan Ingram can get back and then he can have somebody else underneath for him. But I mean, I think at some point he just needs to say, all right, look, these are my two guys. This is who I'm going to. This is who I'm feeding. And you know what I mean? He'll be fine. It's not going to look pretty, but again, I think there's a lot of stuff around him right now that isn't the best. It's just simple as that.
It's just strange because like like in terms of their weapons, Travis Etienne, Brian Thomas, a beast, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis. I know you weren't high on that pickup or anything like that, and they haven't had Evan Ingram, but it's not like you guys have the worst receiver core in the league. It's not like you have the worst O line in the
I mean,
league.
the
This
receivers look
shit's
like
baffling.
they kind of did their job a little bit. I mean, it looks like the receivers kind of they did what they needed to do. You got 86, and you got 61 from the 1 and 2 wide receivers, and I know for a fact Christian Kirk had a few plays on third down. So you know what I mean? I mean, at the end of the day, you're playing a good defense, and sometimes if you're not getting no help, That's just how it's going to look. Like I said, if they want to get rid of him, or if they want to bench him and see what it look like, I still think Trevor Lawrence is a very, very good quarterback. Like maybe not the top 10 or anything like that, but you can win with Trevor Lawrence.
All right, and then they have the Colts and then the Bears. Both these matchups are winnable, so maybe we talk about them and they're 2-4.
Yeah, they might be
In a
three. They
couple of
might be
weeks.
3-4 going into the Green Bay game, and then everything's a little different, And then you got what I'm saying. So again, and now everybody has to hunker down. There's no more. Oh, I want to play this way, or I want to get this guy involved. There's no more of that. That's all out the window. Okay. It's now, what are we? We got this on film. We're good at this right here. We're bad at this right here. Okay, so this is where the coaches and players alike gotta look in the mirror and just tell the truth. You can't lie. It's on film. You got 4 weeks of data. We got a month worth of data now. So it's like it's just gonna show.
Nah, for sure. It's just baffling to me that they're 0-4. I mean, that this wasn't a great game to try to break the streak by any stretch of the imagination, but
I mean, they were up the majority of the game.
and that comes down to coaching.
Got
And
to
in
close.
terms of who's on bye, once again, well, I don't think we mentioned it, but the Eagles, the Chargers, the Lions, and the Titans all on bye. And then in terms of the Jags, they have a division opponent in the Colts. They're favored at home. So you got to get it done. I mean, you're going to go 0-5? Go
He'll be fired.
0-5. What?
He'll be fired. If they lose, he's going to be fired. If they lose this next game, he'll be fired.
All right. Stamp that. Stamp that. I'm shit. I could see it and seen crazier. They gave Urban Meyer a crazy chance though, so it doesn't seem like their GM and ownership is quick to get people out of there though. So I wouldn't be
It's
surprised
not.
if they let him rock.
It's all about if the team is given up. Has the team given up on the coach? And it's like if the team has given up on the coach, which he's already called out his players. He said, "Yo, I ain't out there." So we already got that going for us. It's only, what I mean? It's only a matter of time. They get blown out by Indianapolis. If they get blown out, I'm telling you, he's fired. He's fired.
I wouldn't be mad at the decision. Speaking of Indianapolis, them against the Steelers. Steelers are coming in 3-0, so this was a spot that I did see them losing in. But Joe Flacco coming in doing his thing. You need some relief and you want some efficient veteran quarterback play. Here you go with Joe Flacco. So yeah, Colts edge this one out. Really close game, but they were down the entire game. But the Colts didn't score in the second half, but they didn't need to come out
Yeah,
with this one.
they
But what?
scored 10 points in the second.
Oh, I'm tripping. I'm tripping. But yeah, besides that, they were up 10 coming into the second half. How do you feel about this one?
I mean, it's a classic spot where Colts playing at home. They got out early. Even when AR was still in the game, he was getting the guys involved. I want to say that before he went out, Michael Pittman had maybe about 50 yards. He had a 30-yard pass catch and then a 26-yarder. Then Josh Downs got involved. It looks like he's super healthy. And Jonathan Taylor, he looks like the Jonathan Taylor that was fantasy running back 1 3 years back. He's killing it right now. Unfortunately, he ended up with a high ankle sprain. He said due
Is
to
it
the
a high
surgery
ankle sprain? I thought they weren't able to. Was that determined yet?
I believe it was, but he did say that due to the surgery that he had on that ankle, that it isn't as severe as it was before. So that's the good news. And Trey Sermon is going to be the backup, probably going to get all the carries, everything, all the production, all the touches. So if you're able to get him, keep your eye out on him. But yeah, Joe Flacco came in. He did Joe Flacco things. He's not scared of two man. All right, like Joe Flacco will throw. He will throw a nuke on your two man. All right, you're lucky he's throwing that shit underneath. So it's just one of those things. And again, Joe Flacco against Pittsburgh. You know how many Sundays he's done that shit? There's nothing to him. There's nothing to him. So he goes out there, he does his thing.
I didn't even
Gets
think
his team,
about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
he gets his team a win, and it's just a regular Sunday. Goes home and lays up on the couch with the kids. Like it's just what he does. As for the Steelers, you know they were going to get a loss eventually. It was bound to drop. They were a good football team, and they like to muddy it up. But today, the team that they played were able to score touchdowns, and in those games, they're probably not going to be able to compete. They did end up with getting two touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and they had an unfortunate slip fumble with George Pickens when they were in the red zone a different time. But more times than likely, this is how the game's going to end. And when you have this game script with the way that the coaches for Pittsburgh wants to play and the way that Justin Fields wants to play, this is more so in favor of the opposing team. And that's what happened here. Indianapolis came out with the win. And yeah, I just think that that's how these games, if you're going to beat the Steelers, this is how you got to beat them. You got to beat them through the air. You got to beat them scoring touchdowns.
Giving a little bit of preview of what y'all might have to do against them.
For sure.
Yeah,
I
and
like to think
that's obviously a tough matchup. Ravens, I believe, have the Bengals, so Ravens dropped that one. I mean, it's going to be interesting. The Browns don't, with Deshaun Watson back there, I don't really have faith in them. So it's really about if the Bengals could come back, make it interesting. The Ravens are the Ravens. I think the record doesn't really show how good they are. We all know how good they are, what their potential can be. So, but the Steelers, I mean, Mike Tomlin doesn't have a losing season. So more the same with them, but I don't expect them to be like a 14, 13 win team or anything. So like you said, the loss was coming. It's a good spot for them. And yeah. All right, Broncos, Jets. Ugly ass game. This was a game the Jets, they should have came out and won this one. There was I think Bo Nix had like a record. Seven completions for -7 yards at one point.
Yeah.
And so this was
I'm not talking about this game. You got it.
What you mean, bro? Yo, your boy Bo Nix, he found a way. He sneaky athletic.
Right. It's
sneaky
like
athletic, you know.
They gotta. I mean, yeah. Everybody wants Aaron Rodgers to be, Aaron Rodgers, bro. But all right.
I think what needs to kind of be said about them is that they treat that combo of Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson like it's playmaker and Emmitt Smith back in the day. Like they act like that's the combo that they have. I just don't think they're great players, but I just don't think they're that. This, the weather definitely was a factor in this game, but I think it comes down to coaching. I think every chance that Aaron Rodgers gets, he takes a shot at Robert Saleh. And I think at a certain point, it's like, is this the right coach? Is this there's feels like there's
Aaron Rodgers has been in control of this entire thing since he's got over here, bro.
But should that even have been allowed?
But that's what I'm saying. So I told you this, the day that this shit happened, I'm like, yeah, they're not going to be able to handle this. The Jets aren't going to be able to handle this. And every step of the way, they have not been able to handle this. I mean, this man had a torn Achilles last year, and they couldn't get him to shut up. So, like, what do you think he about to blame himself? Come on, dog. Like, I mean, you got a 40-year-old quarterback in New York. Don't
act like he can't. Don't act like he hasn't been playing well now. I mean,
I'm not saying he's playing bad, but I mean, if was this a game that they were supposed to win? I mean, is this
1,000%.
You know what I mean? Like this is Aaron Rodgers. He's seen every single defense you put in front of him across the line from him. He's blaming somebody. The coach is a defensive guy. He held that team to 10 points. So you don't got one play, you don't got one touchdown play, Aaron Rodgers.
Well, all
I
right,
get
check,
I get a
I
day.
mean, I
I get
guess
a
so.
Daniel.
So
I
you're
get a
putting in.
Nathaniel Hackett might not have a touchdown play. I understand
I
Nathaniel
was
Hackett
just
might
about to
not
say
have a
that. Yeah.
touchdown play. But Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a touchdown play. All right.
Hey, your boy Tyron Smith is pretty healthy though. You wish y'all had him.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
all right. Well, yeah, with this game, just an ugly game. This was, anybody could have won this one. I don't know really what to take away from this game. That division,
These losses happen in the NFL. That's what you should take away from that. And that's literally what you should take away from that. Is that these losses happen in the NFL. The New York Jets shouldn't have lost this game. And they lost it.
at all.
Which is why anytime my football team wins their football game, I'm gonna be appreciative. Because this is the alternative, and I don't want this.
Nah, and you're spitting right now, but it's crazy because with the Tua injury, they're 2-2. The Bills just lost to the Ravens, got dominated, so they're not out of it. It's just from the games that they've played. I still don't know what the Jets are. I don't really know what
They
their
don't either.
identity is.
They don't either. And that's the problem. They don't either. You know what I mean? Like that's the Jets.
And now they have this Vikings team in London. This is going to be interesting because obviously this isn't a home game for either team, and the Vikings are undefeated. Teams don't go undefeated in the NFL, so I could see the Jets somehow
This
pulling
is a
this one
letdown
out.
spot for Minnesota. This is definitely a letdown spot, but you know what I mean? The Jets just had their letdown spot. The least they can do is bounce back and get a W.
Nah, for real. For real. And even in terms of their W's, it's against the Titans, which they squeaked out. And then it's against the Patriots, which that's the Patriots. In week 3, the Patriots are looking like the Patriots we thought they were going to be. We've been saying this over and over again. The season doesn't really start until about now. One less preseason game. And they don't really play their starters in the preseason anyway. So that's again. I mean, this is a game where you're expecting to go to London being 3-1. They should be in 3-1 right now. This is a perfect opportunity to be tied up with the Bills because the Bills had the Ravens and y'all had the Broncos. So this one, if you're a Jets fan, this one hurts. I think Jets fans in general, though, are just happy that Aaron Rodgers is playing at a level that they expected him to when they got him. But yeah, that's a game you got to come away with. Comes down to coaching, but Aaron Rodgers has to take some of that too. And I think they had like 5 false starts, so that's still to me coaching. I don't know if they have the right coach, but we don't know what they are. Then, like you said, I don't think they know what they are either. I agree with that completely. The Broncos take this one home. The defense is looking great. And, in that division, the Chiefs, one of the only undefeated teams who expect the Chiefs to take this division home. And then the Chargers, I think they're better than the Broncos and the Raiders are 2-2. So we'll see how that conference shapes out to see who the wild card owners are, like who becomes those wild card teams out of that conference. But yeah, you got to win this one. You got to find a way to win this one in the rain. You have the better running back. You have the better quarterback. And to me, this came down to who had a better coach, and it's Sean Payton. So, hey. All right, 1 second. Let's take this shit back. All right, Eagles, Bucks. Um, you want to take this one away?
I mean, looks like the Bucks have the Eagles number, and the Eagles are. Everybody loves the Eagles when the Eagles win. You know what I'm saying? They get the tough, gutty wins, and everybody loves the Eagles. But this team is a 2-2 team. This is what this team is. This team has deficiencies all over their football
They
team.
should be happy to be 2-2, to be honst, because to me they should have lost that Saints game.
Right, and they're depleted. But I mean, so is the Buccaneers. But and they're not together. Jalen Hurts came out and said that they don't know what their identity is. And Jalen Hurts, I've seen so many stats on him, and it's just funny. I think it's ironic how turnovers were the talk of the town. Turnovers, interception, blah blah blah. No one talks about this guy. All he does is turn the ball over.
Hey, no, they're talking about him because what the streets are saying is he's Daniel Jones who squats 600. He
Well,
he's
yeah. I mean, yeah.
without his weapons in that receiver room and Saquon, it's looking like the
You gotta
Giants and
understand that
Philly.
the offense that he's running is hard. The offense that this isn't one read and go. This is going through progressions, reading the defense, seeing what they're in. Okay, they're playing cover 2. Okay, so we're going here with it. Oh, we're playing cover 3. Okay, so we're going down the seam with it. Oh, they're playing, you know what I mean? They're the linebackers blitzing. Okay, so that area of the field is going to be what's open. So the tight end has to get to that spot and turn around. Like this is an actual offense that Jalen Hurts is running.
So what are you trying to say? That he's not adept to running a real offense, or what you trying to say there?
I'm trying to say that the marriage between him and Kellen Moore, this is what it was going to look like. This is what it was going to look like. It was going to look like this with him and Kellen Moore. I mean, I'm not even. This is not trolling, but this is the offense. You have to be really, really good at this offense, and this is his first year in the offense. So, and he don't got his guys. He don't got a get out of jail free card in AJ Brown. You know what I mean? And he doesn't have Devontae Smith over there. So it's like that on time. No matter what quarterback you are, is going to make it harder. And they were down early, bro. It was 21-0 at one point. There's another game where you know what I mean. It was 21-0. They got their ass smacked. They got their ass smacked the same way the Cowboys got smacked when we played the Saints.
And the only difference is they got smacked, and it's not like they made some garbage time plays to get back in there.
They tried. They did try. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm going to say all of those points came in the second half, but then Buccaneers went down and they scored. The Buccaneers just went down. Yeah, Buccaneers just went down and they scored. So it just didn't really work. But yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Baker Mayfield. It's clear that his team has an identity. They might not be the best football team in the NFL. They might not be AFC East caliber team, divisional team, but they know who they are. They're figuring out the running back situation. This team's gonna go as far as Baker goes on that day. You get bad Baker, what you got 2 weeks ago, and you got good Baker this week. So good Baker, 340 yards.
How much bail do you want to shoot the Eagles based on Devontae Smith and AJ Brown not playing?
Well, honestly, none. Honestly, none. Because Saquon Barkley is still an all-pro running back. Because Jahan Dotson, I'm pretty sure, was selected in the first round of the NFL draft. Because Dallas Goedert is one of the better tight ends currently playing right now. I mean, is that Paris Campbell? These are all guys that when they were added to the roster, Howie Roseman was praised for. They were happy to get these guys. So if it doesn't work out,
don't forget the addition of Devin White was also supposed to do it.
People have been screaming since the summertime that Devin White is not good. Devin White is not good at football, and Philly fans, that was just motherfuckers hating. So okay, who's hating on his ass now?
and I was telling Eagles fans, like, look, bro, they kept Levante David, who's the older player, and let him go for a reason. Devin White go for a reason. And
what
Howie
I
with his Madden Twitter analyst mock draft type of moves, they get a lot of love on Twitter and Instagram, TikTok,
well,
but how much is
what I
that
learned is
affecting?
you don't tell Eagles fans anything. You just let them find out for themselves. Just let them find out for themselves, man. You know what I mean? Like, come on, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Y'all was hyped about Kellen Moore. Y'all still hyped?
Hey, we'll see. They're going to use the excuse though of not having their weapons, but let's see how it looks then. And I did want to get into this a little bit, but your boy Micah, he might be doing 3D 8D chess, having Darius Slay on the podcast, kind of geeking at CJ's performance, his own performance. I mean, that locker room, they don't have a leader as a head coach. I don't know what that head coach does. What does Nick Sirianni do? What does he do? Because you
He's
have
a
him
mascot.
there, and then CJ Gardner Johnson went on Instagram today and said, "Damn," with about 6 dots, because I mean, what are we doing? We hopping on the Rivals podcast to laugh at my performance. And then Darius Slay himself, he put his Twitter on private after, he be popping his shit. Like, it's a funny team because these players, they try to adopt the fan base's like mentality and mojo, and it's like, hey,
That
to
shit's all
me,
good when you on
to
an
me,
8-game winning streak. That shit is cool. That shit is fine. But when you got real football week after week, and it's win, lose, win. Bro, if you go back and you look since like week, it's like it's in their past 12 games, they've only won 3 of them or something crazy like that. They've been losing a lot. They got no one paid attention to it because they was too busy trying to talk shit about whatever the hell the Cowboys had going on and not being all in. But it's like, bro, this team was in way more turmoil than we were in the entire offseason during the season. These motherfuckers is pouting like bitches. And it was never acknowledged. It was never news. It was never news. And I mean, they out here getting their ass beat too. A 2-2 because they're a 2-2 team. The Cowboys are a 2-2 team, a 500 team, and so is Philadelphia. Philadelphia was projected and is probably still projected to win a division, but who's scared of these motherfuckers? I'm not.
I mean, how can you be? What they get Jahan Dotson for? I'm seeing for
Probably a
a,
late
a
round pick.
fifth a fifth a fifth rounder, and they exchange something. But what are we talking about here in terms of their production without AJ Brown, without Devontae Smith, and even with just Devontae Smith,
And
you're
then
not
look,
really
hold on.
confident going into these games.
Remember what I said about Saquon Barkley, that receiving out the backfield stuff? You got that the first game. You got that the first game. You ain't got it ever since. They haven't done that, none of that ever since. That was cap. I know Kellen Moore. I'm not getting the running
Hey,
backs involved.
hey,
It's not part of the offense.
he got 2 catches for 32 yards.
Right. And without your wide receiver 1 and 2, that boy should have had 9. They should have
For
been
real.
peppering him. They should have been peppering him in the tight end.
Nah, for real. At least Quinyon Mitchell's looking good. N'Kobe Dean, he's looking good, but these guys are missing tackles. Secondary was a problem last year. It's a problem this year. Um, Outside of Quinyon Mitchell, where's Cooper DeJean at? Was he hurt?
Bro, he just plays special teams.
um, hey, Howie, he did it again.
Yeah, he drafted somebody that everybody let fall to him. Whoa, so good.
All right,
Uh,
we're done. We're done shitting on them. We'll see how they do with Washington seeming like a force, and then the Cowboys being the Cowboys, having their identity. We'll see how the Eagles do. That locker room though, after Slay went on the podcast, I'm curious to see how that holds up because Sirianni he's supposed to be the culture guy. I don't know what else he's supposed to be besides the culture guy. Let's see if he gets that
bro,
in
he don't
check.
got control of that. He don't got control of that locker room, bro. Like,
Hey, the streets
he
are saying that Jalen Hurts is basically Daniel Jones with aura and a thesaurus and a degree in journalism. I said that. I didn't read that nowhere. I said that. He's good at the press conference, and he swagged out. But
I mean, he
hey,
got time to turn it around. Everybody got time to turn it around, but it's just like I know certain quarterbacks, if they were playing the way Jalen Hurts was playing right now, and their team was 2-2, they would be getting crushed. You know what I'm saying?
I know a lot of teams like that. But
So,
he has the aura. That's all
right,
that matters. And
yeah. Shout out.
speaking of a quarterback that's looking dangerous in the NFC East, we have Jaden Daniels against the Cardinals. I don't know how to feel about the Cardinals. Obviously, their defense is an issue, but story of the game, Jaden Daniels is looking elite. 26 for 30, 233. Brian Robinson's a big part of their game. And even when Eckler was healthy, that was looking like a good tandem there. What you gotta take away from this?
I mean, I think they just had a number. You know, I think what Dan Quinn did, keeping Kyler Murray in the pocket, making him sit back and make plays. He wasn't able to make enough, and you know, right now Cliff Kingsbury, he's in his bag. You know, it was a revenge game for him, and these teams, whether they haven't figured out how to contain Jaden Daniels, or whether it's just they haven't, you know, they don't have the player personnel, they haven't been able to stop him. He's making all the right decisions. He's got all. It seems as if he got all the answers. He's good at this. He looks like a good football player. And again, we're 4 weeks into his season. This is the second game in a row where he scored a touchdown pass. And you know they did have to punt and they did have an interception, but we'll see. You know, like now this is no one's going in thinking that the Commanders are a slouch. So these defensive coordinators, they're watching film now. We got to figure out what this guy's not good at. We got to figure out what we need to do, how we need to keep him in the pocket. What's good? Do we need to stop the run first? What do we need to do? And you know, right now they're playing well. 3-1 is 3-1. Doesn't matter how you get there. Washington fans can celebrate, do what you want. You finally did it. You finally got another quarterback. The last one you had like this, his name was RG3, and y'all ruined his career. So all I ask is that you kind of, you know, appreciate this one and you protect him and don't ruin his career. So,
Yeah, they got the Browns next. They're favored 3.5. I believe that's home. Not too much a distance from Cleveland, but I don't know what to take away from Cleveland. So they might end up being 4-1. The division, the NFC East, always a new division winner. Maybe it's them, but besides the Giants, which once again, if we had a kicker, I think they lose that game. We'll see how they go. And then they got the Ravens followed up with that, repeat with us. Yeah, I mean, I expected a lot more from Kyler in this offense. I don't know how to feel about them, but in terms of that Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury combo, I think this is where Cliff really fits in. I think he's an offensive coordinator. I think that's where he should stay. Maybe not with the Commanders, but just being the OC and not commanding the whole team. I think he plays to the strengths of whoever he has under center, and I think he's the perfect guy for Jaden Daniels, and I think he was banging the table to draft him. So
Yeah. I mean, they said, I don't know how true it is, but I kind of believe it. They said that he was the number one prospect on their board.
and the
So
Giants during Hard Knocks said that if he was available, that's who we would have got. I know a lot of Giants fans. This is another little slight. It's not really a rant, but we didn't have the opportunity to get him. Be happy we got Neighbors, please. Giants fans, stop. Just stop. We didn't have a chance. We couldn't even get up and get Drake May. So just stop it. We got Neighbors. We haven't had a wide receiver one since Odell, but the Commanders seem like they got a guy, protect them. And yeah, they did their thing against the Cardinals. The Cardinals got to regroup and figure out how to really gel on both sides of the ball. But yeah, two pretty bad defenses. The Cardinals weren't able to take advantage of this one, but that Commanders O line held up against a team with really no pass rush, and they gave them the business. So
right. And I mean, again, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna go against teams that have more weapons on defense than um the Cincinnati Bengals and the Carolina Panthers. I mean the Arizona Cardinals. And that's not to take a shot or a dig at those teams. It's just, if you don't, when you're playing a dynamic quarterback like that, there's certain defensive pieces you just need to have. And I just don't think those teams right now have those pieces.
fair enough. All right, so Patriots at the Niners. We don't have to spend too much time on this one. This is a game that the Niners needed to have coming in 1-2. Um, the way they lost to the Rams, bounce back spot, had a chance to beat the Vikings. Now they're going up against the Cardinals next week, 7.5 favorites. So division game, that's going to be important. The Patriots. So how do you feel? Do you think they should push out Drake May here soon, or what's the deal?
Nah, I mean they might have to eventually, but again, I'm not pushing them out with that offensive line. I'm not getting my quarterback killed. I can wait. I'm a patient person, so I don't mind waiting. Now I
So if
understand
you
that
if
some
you were a
people,
Patriots fan, you're just still let's
again, I have nothing to do with fans, bro. I have nothing to do with fans and their feelings, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. We're all fanatics, want to see the product, but what's the point of rushing the product out there? And not to say he can't do it, but what's the point of him getting all those hits? Jacoby Brissett is getting crushed.
hey,
And
hey, hey, but they got the Dolphins this week, division game, and I don't know what the deal is with Jalen Phillips, but he did get hurt in this game last night against the
I don't
Titans
think
short week.
but I don't think it's necessarily it's the talent of the pass rushers that is the reason for this. I think it's just right now, you know what I mean? Their original offensive line was bad, the original starters. And now we got the backups in. And it's just like you don't I mean, I don't know. Me personally, I just feel like it takes one play for your whole entire season or your whole entire situation to be over. And again, it's up to he's going to play eventually. He'll probably play eventually. I just don't need. What's the rush? What's the rush?
I mean, he might be able to win you some games because the Dolphins aren't looking like shit without Tua right now. So this is a great time to take advantage of that.
But what if he's not
Well, if he's not what?
willing to win you some games because they don't have the talent at wide receiver because their running back
I
is
mean,
fumbling the ball.
I like Demario Douglas. They spent
Okay,
what
you like him
like a
against
second and third round pick on
Jalen.
Polk.
You like him against Jalen Ramsey?
I mean, you got to go up against NFL corners.
Exactly.
So
So it's like let's
I
get some
mean, but you're
dogs.
going to have that every week. I mean, the week after that, they got the Texans. You got to deal with Derek Sting. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
You know
So
what I'm saying? So it's they're not in a position to win games. They know that. They knew that going in. They knew they weren't in a position to win games. So you
I
know what I
mean,
mean? Again,
they were playing teams tough. They could have beat the Seahawks that went into overtime against the Jets. I mean, Jets did their thing there, and against the Niners, coming off a loss to the depleted Rams, I think it's a good spot. Tua's not playing.
So what are you trying to do?
To
You're trying to say that Drake May can make a playoff run?
come on now, I'm not going that far, but
I mean,
like
that's what I'm saying.
we
So
don't
like,
have to handle him with kid gloves. That's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't
oh,
need
but
to.
he's not going to get handled with kid gloves. That boy is going to be starting for our franchise as soon as next year, for the next 10 years. So because we didn't let him play in some games, we handle him with kid gloves.
I mean, to me, the whole strategy to me was let's play him when we have some better matchups. Texans obviously have a good D line, but once you go against the
I
Jags,
think I
Jags not
think
doing shit.
I
The
think
what am I
I mean,
looking
and
at?
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I think
It's like
NFL
about to troll.
coaches have a little bit more respect for the NFL than you might have for some of these teams.
It sounds like you think that Drake May just isn't ready for the moment or something like that because
I don't think that. I mean, bro, his team ain't ready for the moment. What's the point of being the only guy out here ready to play football?
I
Like,
mean
I mean,
the
I like
Patriots defense has been playing well enough where you throw Drake May out there and he's able to make some plays and they could keep the
didn't they just get
score
35
below
points thrown on
20.
him?
You said what?
How
Yeah,
many
but
points did they just put up?
that's against the Niners though.
Oh, dude, we only played 4 games.
Okay, and they beat the Bengals. They went into overtime with the Seahawks, and it was a terrible outing against the Jets, but
The
against the
sorry ass
Dolphins
Jets.
teams pushing out Tyler Huntley, and I'm not calling him Snoop no more because you need to be playing better than that to don a nickname. But shit, go out there against Tyler Huntley, outperform him. I mean, why not? But
But
hey,
again, Jacoby
that
Brissett, respectively, Jacoby Brissett could do that shit. Because I mean, like, and it goes. I hate to harp on it again, but it just goes to look how hard it is to play QB, man. You still want to know why they paying Tua? You still want to know why Tua ass is gonna be right back on that fucking field week 8?
hey,
I'll run the tape for you.
well, 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 we'll get to that. Chiefs Chargers though. Um, I'm surprised that Justin Herbert played. I mean, that boy's a dog. I mean, he Iron Man. I remember when he played with the broken ribs. He has a high ankle sprain. Harbaugh still pushes him out there. Lose by a tutty, but Patrick Mahomes, they're 4-0. Kareem Hunt came in here, did his thing, played pretty well. But story of the game, no Rasheed Rice. Chiefs, Pat Mahomes ran into him, but it's sounding like it's not a torn ACL. It might be something else. He might be back here in a couple of weeks. Do you think the Chiefs should go ahead and go trade for a receiver before the deadline?
Uh, I think they'll see. Wait, I think they'll check to see what they have, and if it's not really working out, then yeah, I think that's probably what they just end up doing. They end up trading for a receiver. But again, it's the Chiefs, so it's not like they necessarily need, you know, a Devontae. I can see them getting not Devontae Adams, but DeAndre
DeAndre
Hopkins
Hopkins. I
because
would love that.
they were already speaking to DeAndre Hopkins before. So I can see them kind of getting in a situation where they're like, all right, well, we might as well kind of rock, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? Like, you tried it with Tennessee, it didn't really work. We got this 5th round pick, 4th round pick. Come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, let us get the guy, and you know what I mean. They're back in business, and DeAndre Hopkins is going to be in that nuke role. So, I mean, not the nuke
Yeah, and
role,
then with the
the Rasheed Rice
Titans,
role.
oh yeah, we'll get to them here in a second. But yeah, back to the Chiefs. Travis Kelsey, he's going to be back to being the focal point. If he's not playing like he's 47 years old, things could get better. Xavier Worthy's more of like a gadgety type deep threat.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously broke the combine record for the 40. So
Right.
that was cool and all, but Now you're out Rasheed Rice. Hollywood Brown hasn't been there. He's not going to be there. Now you're relying on what? Juju, Justin
Yeah,
Watson,
and
Sky Moore.
you can't rely on Juju no more, man. It's just
I
like not
mean,
even trying
shit,
to
you
talk, not
telling
even
me.
trying not even trying to talk that shit, but it's just you just can't rely on that guy,
And no
you
Pacheco either. I mean, Kareem Hunt's cool. They got P. Ryan. They have that fullback that certain people in our league thought it was worth half their fab.
I
But
mean, maybe it would have been if he didn't fumble, but
that's
he
the second
fumbled.
fumble of the year. And
Right.
you're an undrafted free agent, so you can't be doing that. Lad McConkey's looking pretty decent for the Chargers, though. They're going into this bye, so this is a good time for them to kind of regroup. But Chiefs are 4-0. How you feel? How you feel about the Chiefs? And they worked some devil voodoo magic, and Rasheed Rice might not be out for the season after all. I mean,
Yeah.
how you feeling about the Chiefs? I mean, they're trying to go for that three-peat. It's kind of it feels a little bit pointless judging them in the off season, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I think when it comes to them, it's just one of those situations where they just know how to win games. They just know how to win football games. You know what I mean? Like it's ugly as hell. You watching that shit is ugly, but at the end of the day, they pull it out, and I think that there's something to that, yo.
Yeah, and with them, the rest of the division's 2-2. Chargers clearly coming into this bye, but the Raiders, which we'll get to them and what's going on with them. The Broncos, the defense is looking good, but Bo Nix still looking like a rookie quarterback. Um, Seems like they kind of have this division on lock. They just kind of have to keep their head above water, and then
We're still due, and like I said, they're also going to get Clyde Edwards-Helaire back, and if he's right, like if he's mentally in his right state of mind, I think he'll be straight. Also,
facts. Yeah, not much to take away from this game to me. It's just Chiefs doing Chiefs things. Derwin James got suspended for a game, which I thought was BS. But hey, I think Chiefs are going to be looking for a receiver at the deadline. It's kind of funny. Tyreek Hill needs a quarterback. Chiefs kind of need a receiver. Why don't we, rekindle that
uh,
relationship?
oh, but I do got one for you. I do got one. Amari Cooper. Amari. Amari to the Chiefs. I can see that. If it's not DeAndre, oh my God, Amari and them would go crazy.
But do you want that? Like, that's just so unfair.
Yeah, hell yeah. I, I like all of the good player personnel moves. I'm not going to look. I can't hate on a team for doing the right thing for their football team. It's just simple as that sometimes. And I just think some like when it comes to certain squads, they know what they're doing. And I think that the Chiefs, they know what they're doing. And if they get one of those veterans that are over 30 or close pulling up on 30, they're going to maximize their talent, yo. And Amari Cooper in that offense, oh my gosh, would be dirty. You got to deal with Amari Cooper running all the precision routes that Rasheed Rice was running, all those slants, and then you got to be concerned with Xavier Worthy going deep. You're gonna kill
Well,
them.
I'm glad you brought that up because now we got the Browns here. If they were to trade him at the deadline, are you thinking that the Browns? I mean, if they were to do that, that's kind of them being like, yeah, Deshaun Watson's not the guy. I mean, when do they have it out on this contract? It's fully guaranteed. And then, I mean, they do have Jerry Judy now.
They got
And
guys over there, so it's not. I don't. I mean, again, they were trying to get Brandon Ayuk. So you know what I mean? Like they were trying to load up at wide receiver, and they were willing to ship out Amari already. And they might just be one. They might be in a situation where it's like, okay, the season is gone. The season is gone, and we're not doing well. We might as well throw Amari a bone, send him over here with the Chiefs, let him get a shot at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? That happens sometimes, but I don't know. I just don't.
What do you think the Chiefs give up for him? Like a second and
Fifth,
a fifth?
the same fifth, not even a second and a fifth. I think they probably give up just a clean fifth.
Just the fifth? I think
Yeah,
if they were just giving up one pick, I think it would at least need to be a third, because you got to remember, like with the Chiefs, they're going to be in the playoffs, so that fifth is almost like a sixth. So
yeah. But it's just. I mean, I'm sure it'll be some type of conditions to it. But I'm because you know what I mean. You got to remember, even when Amari got when he was 3 years younger, he got traded for a fifth. You know what I mean? Like he got traded for
yeah,
a
but
fifth when he
just
was
because
three
y'all
years.
made that's crazy. Don't you think that's a little crazy though? Y'all traded him. Was
As
it
a,
just the fifth? It
yeah,
was
but
just
you gotta remember, bro, what
hold on, hold
goes
on, hold on,
into
hold
it.
on. But y'all traded him for a fifth, and then y'all traded a fourth for Trey Lance.
Yeah. And
You
you got to
you
remember what goes into it, though. We traded him for a fifth, but they paid him.
right,
They
right.
paid him and they maxed him out. So
And they just
it's one.
restructured. They just restructured his deal, so whoever he trades him to, which might come back with more trade value in terms of the pick. I think they're going to have to give up a decent amount, because I think the pitch is going to be like, "Yo, you're the Chiefs. We need some more draft capital, especially for what we got him for. Like, we're not trying to punt the season away. If you're the
Who,
Browns,
I mean, hey, I mean, it's just all about the deal that can be made, though. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's just all about the deal, the offer that's on the table, and if you're willing to negotiate. Because if no one else is giving up a fifth, if no one else is giving up a third, why do I got to give up a third? All right, and then, you know what I mean. It was just like, okay, you don't
I
want to do
think,
no dealings with us.
but it's also how desperate is that other team. It's like, yeah, we know y'all need a receiver. This is probably the best receiver y'all could get on the market
But
outside
they
of
don't
Devontae
need the
Adams.
best receiver.
But
You know what I mean? That's the thing with
exactly,
it.
exactly though. So it's like, why are we pressed to give this guy up? Because Deshaun Watson, if we feel like he's not performing, we did add two, you know, decent quarterbacks to the roster, and we still might be able to make a run. I mean, we made the playoffs with Joe Flacco last year,
Right.
so
And Amari Cooper was, but again, they was willing to trade his ass already. So it's just you got to see how they feel. And they gave I think they might have even gave Jerry Judy a contract.
I'm pretty sure they did give Jerry Judy a contract. But how much do you trust in Jerry Judy?
I don't trust him enough to give him a contract to begin with.
So, but
You
do
know
you
what I
trust
mean?
him enough to give him a contract and then let go a wide receiver one? As if,
Huh?
and then you got to remember, Nick Chubb is back practicing this week. He's practicing this week, so
Right. And again, this is relative to if they're punting at the position, if they're punting, if they're done, if they gave up, and that's not going to be until we're talking like week 8 or 9. So we just got to see what happens.
exactly. And then they're 1-3 along with the Bengals, and the Ravens are 2-2. And then if we go back to it, who they have next? They have the Bengals, and then they have the Ravens, and that's right before the deadline. So those are two matchups to really pay attention to, because those are two division matchups. If that's going to be the determining factor. Do you give up Amari Cooper? Can you go 1-1 these next two games?
Yeah,
If they
I
go
guess. I mean,
0-2, then now you're sitting at 1-5 right before the deadline. So
right. So you'll take whatever you can get at that point.
I don't know about that. I mean, we'll see. But speaking of wide receiver trades, Devontae Adams, he requested a trade. Antonio Pierce, shout out to him, Giants legend, linebacker, won a ring with us. But Antonio Pierce was kind of cryptic in that press conference when he said that guys are making business decisions. Devontae Adams, he's a smart dude. So yeah, I think he gets dealt. I think they have Brock Bowers now. Jacoby Myers, a good young player, so he could be the wide receiver one for now. And then in terms of who their best players are, it was either between Devontae Adams and then on the defensive side, it's Max Crosby, who just turned 27 2 months ago.
Right.
So
So
you
he's
kind of
not
have a
even.
decent core there. You spend a second round pick on Michael Mayer the year before. So it's like, all right, Devontae Adams, he came here to play with Derek Carr. Derek Carr not here no more. So the issue is, yeah, the Chiefs need a receiver, but are the Raiders trading in division and giving up Devontae Adams? I personally don't see it. So I don't think that's the team he really goes to.
I don't think Devontae Adams goes
You
personally.
don't you don't you don't think
I
they're
don't think.
trading him?
No. I think they're trading him. I don't think they're trading him to the Chiefs.
Me either.
I don't think that would be the team that he gets traded to. I think if he gets traded, it's to honestly, it might even be out of the division completely, bro. If they
Yeah. To me, the Raiders seem kind of petty like that. I mean, it's not even petty. This is how most teams think. They don't want to trade blue chip players in the division and have to see them twice a year every year. You know, you're the Raiders. You kind of made a move in trading for Devontae that really didn't make too much sense because you guys weren't a receiver away. It was kind of I want to play with Derek Carr. I want to play with the team that I grew up being a fan of. Then you
Yeah, it
guys,
was an emotional trade. I
yeah,
mean, it was an
and
emotional trade, and sometimes in business that's not a good idea.
yeah. So I don't think he goes to the Chiefs. I think a decent landing spot for him would be maybe the Bills, maybe the Ravens.
Nah, the Ravens throw way too many resources at at wide receiver at this point to do something like that. I believe personally, but I could be wrong. But they have thrown a lot of.
How many? I mean, Rashad Bateman was drafted in what, like the second or third?
No, he was drafted in the first. He was drafted in
Damn,
the
was he?
first. Yeah, he was drafted in the first. Jay Flowers was drafted in the first. They played money for Odell, even though he's not on the team anymore. Like they've thrown money at that position, bro. They've thrown money at
Well,
they've thrown a lot of
they keep
resources.
missing low key, and then Mark Andrews isn't looking like the Mark Andrews we know and love. So yeah, they got him at the end of the first. I mean, they might rationalize it like, hey, it's kind of like a second round pick. We got him at pick 27. He's cool. Likely he's cool. Flowers is cool, but you know they went and got Derrick Henry at a good price. So we'll get to the Ravens here in a second. So if not the Ravens, who do you think would be a great fit for Devontae Adams, where it's like, all right, it makes sense? And how much do you think he's going for? The deadline's in a couple weeks.
I mean, he's going for a second. I mean, they already said it. He's going for a second. They're second and a fifth. Like I told you earlier, veterans that request trades get traded for a second and a fifth. So he'll get a second and a fifth, whoever's willing to give that up, and he'll be on a team that's
What
trying to
about the
go.
Steelers?
I just don't think they need a wide receiver. Like they're good with Pickens.
They don't need a wide receiver, but they were in on Brandon Ayuk, so they feel like they need a wide receiver.
Brandon Ayuk is also 6 years younger than Devontae Adams.
But
So
the Steelers, but the Steelers, they're 3-1, and maybe they feel like, look, we're a defensive team, we'll run first. If we have that, it might open up the book for Justin Fields, and I don't think he would mind playing with Justin Fields compared to a Gardner Minshew. I don't think he has like a no trade clause or whatever, does he? But
yeah, he does.
he does.
Yeah.
Oof. Well,
Yeah.
I think he would like to play
he
with Justin Fields.
if he requested a trade, then like he's waiving the no trade clause.
I thought how that works is like he could request a trade and have the no trade clause and kind of pick where he goes.
I think it's like, okay, like so with Dak's no trade clause, Dak could waive the no trade clause to go to a team. He can waive it to go to a team. But if you're requesting a trade, you're saying, bro, anywhere but here. Anywhere but here. All right, I'll send your ass to Cleveland. I'll send your ass wherever the hell I feel like. You know what I mean? And that is actually going to be interesting though to see where he ends up going um with that situation because like I wonder where he wants to go. I think we all think he wants to go to the Jets. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
How much do the Jets make sense because of Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but like how badly do the Jets need him? They have Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams is starting to
They
look
got their
healthy,
own
even though
offensive issues that they dealing with right now. So I don't know why you would want to add someone like him to the list. Like I don't know why you would want to add a
yeah,
Devontae
like
Adams
the
to that.
Jets, the Jets. That's it's a cute story, but Devontae Adams, you gotta be done with these cute stories, bro. So to me, it's tough. I kind of like the Steelers. I could see the Jets though, but what about the Commanders?
Maybe the Bills. Maybe the Bills.
That's what I
The
said.
Bills. Yeah,
That's what I said
maybe. But
earlier.
I mean, the Commander fans, they just want everything and anything right now. If they did that, I'd be cool with it. Like I'm like, y'all dumb as hell. Cause y'all need to build around the young guy. Y'all don't need Devontae Adams. Y'all need to keep that second round pick.
That it's
But
definitely a win now move. So I mean, I'd be happy if they did it too, low key, because like, all right, man, do y'all thing. Y'all think y'all window to win is right now, even though you got a rookie quarterback on his rookie deal right now.
right.
So I mean, if they wanted to do that, cool. But yeah, it's interesting because none of the teams that make sense are very high powered offenses. Or
Exactly. This is the same issue that Brandon Ayuk ran into. This is the same problem that Brandon Ayuk like
and
was
we're
dealing
talking low key about the same teams,
with.
kinda. You
Right.
know what I mean?
And that's why they were like, you know what? Let's just let this motherfucker. He thinks this is the best idea for him. Let him go see what his options are. You want to go to New England? Go ahead and go up to cold ass New England without no quarterback and no offensive line. You want to go to Pittsburgh? Go over there. See how much they throw the ball to your
Yeah, I
ass.
got a Patriots fan that was like, "Yeah, we really need a receiver." It's like, you think Devontae Adams wants to go play with either Brissett or a rookie who hasn't played a down? Like, have fun with that. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, it's what you're dealing with right now. But
Right.
if I were him, I'd want to go to a team where there's a chance to make a deep playoff run and they push you over the hill, but I just don't know who that would be.
You said
And
you don't know who that would be.
yeah, I think that would, I mean, maybe I think the Steelers, if I were to
Yeah, I
put
mean,
some money
because
on it.
because as it stands, it's like yo, those teams, like you said, those teams are good. Grow back to Green Bay? Nah, we good. Like, I mean, maybe Dallas, but I don't even think I don't think that
Dallas would be interesting, but is that the type of move y'all would make?
not with what we need. Like our defensive line is too depleted right now for us to even try to go there.
Yeah, it's like y'all
Um
should be trading for a running back, low
I
key.
would even that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't even do that. Maybe if the D line was straight, maybe you could trade for a running back, but nah, I'm not trading for no damn wideout. That's crazy.
Nah, I
Not
feel
right
that. I feel
now.
that. All right, back to it. Bills, Ravens. This is a spot I predicted. Had Ravens money line on this one. I just didn't think this was a game where the Bills are really just going to come out and just be 4-0. This was just a easy spot for me to pick the Bills, but I mean, what's your takeaway from this? Smash
Uh
them.
Yeah, I mean they beat the brakes off of them. I mean, honestly, my takeaway is that you know what I mean. The Ravens, they 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 were down what 0-2? 0-2. They knew they needed to win. The Bills, they
One,
might have
two.
had a little bit of a they might have had a little bit of a. Well, I'm saying because they won two in a row. They
Oh,
might have
okay.
had a little bit of a like a false perception of themselves because they had some they're undefeated and they didn't play necessarily the best teams in the league, but they were winning and they were smashing cats out. I mean, Josh
Yeah,
Allen
dominant.
MVP. Yeah, so I think it's just one of those situations where it just kind of now they had to be competitive today. And I mean, it just started out like, oh yeah, y'all about to get y'all's ass beat. When your man goes 87 yards untouched, that's just kind of what it is at that point, you know. So, you know, it's just that's how you started off, and then they were kind of a little sluggish on offense. So from there, it just kind of reared its ugly head. Lamar did Lamar things. Next thing you know, they up 20. It's ball game. So, and I mean, I don't really. It's one of those things I hate to say it, but I don't really take anything away from it though because the 3-1. So you allowed to blow. I mean, you're going to lose. This is football. You're going to lose a game. You would prefer to not lose like this, but at the end of the day, it's football and this shit happens. So
Yeah, now they got the Texans coming up, the Jets coming up. That's an
so so,
important
so
one.
now they're about to get into their schedule. Basically, is what you're saying.
Exactly. So, and this is what we're talking about with certain teams where if you're looking at the schedule, you got to get some of these games, and the Bills got some of those games. And now, if they go into this, let's say they beat the Texans and then they lose to the Jets, they're still not in a bad spot. You get the Jets again later. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're favored -1 against the Texans, -1.5 against the Jets. With the Bills, I mean, I like what I see from them overall, but this was a game where they got challenged because in those other games they were blowing them out, and they went against a more desperate team away. You know what I mean? You're
Mhm.
playing at M&T, and the Ravens were desperate, but they came out like, hey, don't don't forget who we are. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. I mean, they did.
And then with them, I still like what I see, and this is why I was like, hey, maybe they might be a trade target because I'm not sure if Keon Coleman's ready to hop into that role right now. Wide receiver one, it's looking like Khalil Shakir. Dalton Kincaid's getting more involved in the offense. Some of what we expected from earlier, but the story of the game for the Ravens is that boy Derrick Henry rushing for 200. I mean, dude's a tank, a fast ass tank, and and I wanted to bring this back to you because we were talking in the off season how I felt like, and I'm glad y'all didn't, but I felt like y'all should have, threw your hat in the ring for Derrick Henry. Do you feel
Well,
like for
no,
eight
I mean,
mil, you you you,
it's
you
easy
don't
for you to
feel
have
like
Derrick
y'all?
Henry when you don't have a CD Lamb. You know what I mean? Like you don't have. They don't like.
What you
They
mean? The
can.
Ravens got Zay Flowers.
Okay, and he's on a rookie deal, and that's no disrespect to Zay Flowers, but it's just like our player personnel. We didn't have the luxury for that player, and I mean he wanted to come here, and it's just a matter. It's
What
just
do
a
you?
matter of
But
fact.
y'all don't think y'all could have fixed the Bucks to spend 8 mil? Like that
Like
was always
like
my
like
thing when we were talking about it, which was it's not
No,
like
but
he's
if
asking
that's
for
the
the
case,
Saquon
fix
deal.
right. But if that's the case, like I would have loved for him to fix the Bucks so that we could have kept Tyron Smith. They just they just didn't want to do it. I wish I could tell you something other than that, but it's simply they didn't want to do it.
Well, what do you think? I mean, because y'all didn't draft a running back, y'all didn't really address the D line in terms of run defense. I mean, what do you think the mindset was? Like, yo, we're gonna pay our guys, but y'all didn't pay Micah yet, right? So,
Not at that time. No, we had not played Micah. Yeah,
but y'all
at that
so
time.
did y'all pay him yet?
No, we haven't yet. It's the
So,
same thing that went on this all season with the same thing that went on this all season with CD is the same thing that's going to go on this all season with Micah. It's just that's just how they do things because their money's in others. Their money's in other places, so they just they didn't want to give that up. I wish I could tell you something different, bro. I really
but
do. I
but
wish I could tell
like,
you something different.
all right. So let's say Tyron Smith is out of the equation. You wouldn't be cool with them going out of their way to give that man like 9 mil
No,
just to have.
nah. because we got
Come
so many
on,
other
bro.
problems. I'm sorry. Like I
That's one
get
of y'all
that
main
running
problems,
back.
though.
Really, I think D tackle was more of a main problem than that.
Yeah, but if
I
you were
think
to
D
rank
tackle was more
top
in the
three
main.
problems
I
with your
think
team, is running back.
we average 4 yards a carry. You just and also our running scheme is bad. That's what I was trying to get people to understand. We have no running scheme, so it don't matter who's back there. They still getting hit at the line of scrimmage. Like we have no running scheme, so it don't necessarily matter like how you might think that it does because we
So
don't even have a concept.
do you put that on McCarthy? I mean, he's been
We
with
I
y'all
put
for a
that
while.
on the coordinators, or I put that on if McCarthy considers himself a play caller, it's on him. It's 100% on him. How do you not have a running scheme, bro?
Yeah, but bro, I just feel like you kind of just got to eat crow with this one. Like y'all should have went out and got
Eat
Derrick
crow,
Henry.
bro,
I
but
feel like
like
it.
I'm not eating crow on anything because it's like, bro, I didn't. You know what I mean? I didn't make that call.
Yeah,
I
but you
didn't make
said
that. I didn't make that.
you said you weren't
I
with it
don't.
though.
Yeah, because I don't need a running back. I mean, like I don't need that running back. I don't need that running back. I need a running back. Yes, I don't need that running back. Respectfully,
What
that's
about the?
that
But
just
he's a Hall of Fame running back who
yes,
still looks.
yeah,
And they
without a
talked
doubt,
about his
he looks
diet. They
perfect,
talked about his diet, so he
and he's
takes care of his
perfect. He's
body.
perfect for the team that he's on. He's perfect
He
for
would have
that
been.
team.
Hey, well, like I
No,
said, I'm
is
glad.
there not
I'm
a
glad
game?
y'all
Is there
didn't
not a
make the
game?
move.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
I'm saying.
glad
Was
y'all
there
didn't.
not a game where he had 10 yards? There was a game where actually week one, Zeke had more yards than he did.
But is Zeke putting up 200 yards ever?
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's all about game script. He's perfect for that team. He's perfect for the football team that he's on. He's worth the 8 mil. For our football team, he wouldn't be worth the 8 mil.
So
That's what
you
I'm
still
saying.
you still dying on this hill that you wouldn't take Derrick
I'm
Henry
not
for
dying on
9 mil.
anything because I don't care. They never called the guy. So I'm not dying on anything. But
But
you
if
people are
it
bringing
was
it
up to
up
you, would you
like
have
this.
called the guy? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I don't know. I would have called Tyron Smith. I would have seen what's good with our
I
offensive
said take
line.
Tyron Smith out of it.
But see, that's what I'm saying. You got this like hypothetical to the point where I have to say, oh yeah, I would like, oh yeah, I need Derrick Henry. It's like, bro, there was a lot of things that we had to deal with, bro, with
But
our cap, with our own players. I don't respect going out and paying big money for a free agent when the guys on our team aren't
is
even
that
signed yet.
9 mil big money for Derrick Henry? Because for Saquon, the problem was a couple 100,000 or a mil above 12. That's a 4 mil difference for someone. You could argue Derrick Henry's better. He's not dropping some of these balls, and he might run better. And like I
That's
don't
what I'm
know.
saying.
That
You
once
see, like
again,
yeah, you really like Derrick Henry, and he's a good football player. Like I'm not hating
he's
on bro, but it's
dirty.
just like we had,
Everybody loves Derrick
like
Henry,
you know what I'm saying.
except,
We
except
just had
you, I
our own
guess.
shit. Nah, bro, tight. We just had our own shit that I was dealing with, and like I think that there's other things that you can do to make your running game good outside of paying 8 million for Derrick Henry. Like I personally feel that way. I think there's other things you can do.
All right. Well, we'll have to get back to that one some other time because we could go ad nauseum. We've been going for a while here, but definitely want to revisit that because I've been saying once again, I don't care that y'all didn't because I'm glad y'all didn't because that would have
Okay, so if
been
you don't care, then we shouldn't. It doesn't have to be a topic of discussion again.
yeah. But I try to
You
look
know what
at
I'm
things
saying?
objectively. I
You
try to
know
look
what I
at things
mean?
objectively. When Saquon went to the Eagles, I thought this with that O line he was going to eat. He's been eaten. I wish he went to a different team. With y'all, I'm glad y'all didn't get Derrick Henry. But if I was a Cowboys fan, I'd be like, why the fuck didn't we try to
Bro,
get Derrick Henry?
I always tell you this. Most Cowboy fans agree with you. Most Cowboy fans will say what you're saying, bro. But most Cowboy fans, they don't look at the shit the same way that I do. So most Cowboy fans are on your side. They
Oh,
be
all right.
bashing.
So what?
I can't
So in
believe we
terms of
didn't get Derrick Henry.
in terms of addressing the running back position, what would you wish y'all would have did? Draft or wait until this upcoming draft? Would it
I
be
mean,
Rico
it
Dowdle and
would be nice to
re-signing
have
Zeke?
Braylon. Like again, it would be nice to have Braylon Allen. Like It would have been nice to have Braylon Allen. You know what I'm saying? Like it would. Jalen Wright went in the 4th round. Like there's cats that we like. Yeah, like I'm not denying that there's not cats out there that we could have got, but he didn't do anything at the position. You could have did it, but you know what I'm saying. There was players they chose a linebacker. That linebacker plays for us, so I guess it's not that bad. But that's what they did. That's what they chose to do. You know what I mean? And this is the Joneses, man. This is how they work. That's just how they work. And it's no point in me trying to get worked over. You know what I'm saying? When I know how the team operates, I know how my football team operates. I just
No,
do, for better or for
I
worse.
feel you. And we'll get into that some other time because we could talk about that ad nauseum. But yeah, Titans Dolphins, ugly game. Will Levis, the most memeable quarterback in the league. Mason Rudolph was doing his thing, and I don't know. I need Will Levis to perform better because I want the Giants to be the clear cut getting their quarterback. I don't need the Titans getting their quarterback if they continue to look like this. But
Right.
yeah, how do you feel about this one? I think I might owe two an apology.
You know, I mean, it's a perfect example on why these quarterbacks get paid, why they get paid, even when they suck. I mean, I think that was the perfect, you know, kind of okay, I get it now type situation. Like, yo, these cats get paid the money they get paid because it's trash out here, bro. The alternatives aren't good. And like, I mean, I know you were kind of just trolling or whatever, but you even said like, oh, like Huntley's cool, like Huntley's this, that, and other thing. It's like, bro, no, like Huntley he's decent, but he's not you know what I mean? Like he's not a starting quarterback in the league, and not anybody. I know Tua might have made it look easy, but like it's not easy running that offense, bro. It's not easy doing what Tua was doing. And you know, it's easier to talk trash about, bro. But you got to see now with multiple quarterbacks that it ain't
Skylar
easy.
Thompson don't count. I'm not
Okay,
counting him.
okay,
But
all right.
Tyler Huntley, I think he was just like a
That's a
Lamar
Pro Bowler.
Jackson clone. Bro, stop. Bro,
He
stop.
was
Why are you saying that?
serviceable enough to get to the Pro Bowl, though. Like, I mean, like I'm not
Bro,
saying he's good. I want him on my team, but
but
that
like
just
he
goes to
wasn't
show
an
you,
actual Pro Bowler. Like I know you
right? But
don't even rate the Pro Bowl like that. So
no, I don't. But I'm just saying that's just what goes to show. Like, come on, bro. Like I'm not saying Tua is a special QB, none of that. But that game right there is the exact reason why he gonna be back week 8.
which I mean, how much do you think it is that like a PR move? Like,
Nah,
I feel like he could play right now, but he threw up some gang signs again when he went out with that concussion. I think they need to take a Pat Mahomes approach with him and just be like, look, bro, no scram. I don't care. Throw the ball away and don't get
I
hit
mean,
again.
again, but he did the shit during a football play. It was a football play, so it's like it's just, bro, it's just tough. It really is. It really is just tough, bro, because it's like he made a football play, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? When he's out there, he's not thinking about nothing else but making a play for his team. Bro, why they not let me fucking whatever? You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's gonna always happen because in the heat of the moment, that's really how you feeling. That's how you feeling. You gonna go out. This is football.
Well, they're 1-3 right now. If Tua doesn't come back till week 8, and that's how the offense is looking. I mean, with Tyler Huntley, I feel like the way the Ravens play, it's run heavy. It's not this complicated motion this, motion that, and it's just a completely different scheme. They probably thought he was a major upgrade against Skylar Thompson, but I'm a upgrade against Skylar
until
Thompson.
you go out there. Until you go out there. and then you know what I mean, and then it's like, oh damn, never mind. Because you did say that Tyler Huntley would have been an upgrade, and then he went up there. Not an upgrade, but
Upgrade against
not an
who?
upgrade
Don't
from
pin that on
Tua.
me.
But yeah. Not, but just saying, like
I
bro,
mean,
it's just
he was an upgrade on Skylar Thompson for sure, but
right, and it actually
it
was
was
still
it
bad.
was ugly. Yeah, it was ugly as hell. I mean, on that play where he threw it behind the line of scrimmage, it was a backward pass, ended up being a fumble, went through Tyreek's hands. I mean, it just the offense looks rough. Everything looks difficult, and they can't use their playmakers the way they want to.
Right, right.
They can't.
I mean, so I mean, basically, that's oh my god, that's basically what happens. That's basically how it is, and without like they tried to give it to Tyreek, they tried, but at that point, the defense knows what you're going to do, so they just played everybody to the outside. They waited until cats got the ball, and then once they got the ball, that's when they, you know what I mean, that's when they
Yeah,
pounced on.
he had no space to do what we know Tyreek could do. I have him in fantasy, and we'll get to that in tomorrow's fantasy show in terms of what I'm doing with that. But yeah, man, until Tua comes back, I don't know how to feel about the Dolphins. It seems like the season's kind of a wash. But that's a part of the reason why it wasn't just, oh, I think Tua's trash, but it's this injury thing. And I didn't expect him to still be throwing up gang signs off a play like that. But that definitely was a part of it, was the opportunity or the possibility, I mean, for something like that to happen. And the Dolphins just don't look like nothing right now. So right now they're 1-3 along with the Titans, who are 1-3 in terms of trades. We talked about D Hop. Do you see anything on the Dolphin side? D
Nah,
Hop.
man, just get your quarterback back healthy, bro. Like
But
right
do you
now,
think
I'm
they
not
could
really.
win? Do you think they could? What game? Let's see. Let's see what they got coming up. So they got the Patriots. That's. I'm glad that's a noon game. Thank God it's not a primetime game. I don't know. That's 35 and a half. Shit, might take the under on that one. And then they got the Colts and then the Cardinals. So, I mean, do you think Mike McDaniels, given how much praise the media and even us has given him, should figure out a way to win these games, similar to how the Rams did, even though like they had Matt Stafford, but they didn't have Puka, they didn't have a lot of their line, they didn't have
Bro,
Cooper Cup.
it's hard to do this shit without a QB, bro. I mean, as much as I wish I could say, like it's bro, it's just hard to do. It's just hard to do without a QB. You know, like I'm not trying. Like I am probably shooting him Bell, but it's just like he don't got his guy. I don't know what he can do. I really don't know what he can do without his man's in them there. They're not built. They're not built to have any other person, any other player.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, this game, when it came to this Monday night doubleheader, it was always like, all right, thank God the Lions and the Seahawks play in 20 minutes. I couldn't wait for that game to start. This joint was ugly from the jump. Will Levis went down. I've never seen a quarterback in midair on some like Tom Cruise Mission Impossible shit as much as Will Levis. Like, dude is comedy at quarterback. Dude's comedy. I hope he finds a way to continue and keep the job, and they give him another chance this next year or something. But
Yeah, but
I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know.
I don't know that's happening for the boy. Honestly, it don't look like that's going to be what this situation is. It's just I think it might be um, if they're picking high enough, which it looks like they will be, it looks like they'll be picking the franchise
They
QB.
got your boy Trevor Lawrence in the division, so maybe they squeak some out and they win like 8 games. I don't know, because the defense, they invested a lot into some of these premier positions for that reason, right? Because
Right.
they
Well,
thought they
they wanted to give him a shot. They wanted to give him fair shake, which I believe they have. And they also wanted the team to be in preparation for if they were to get a franchise quarterback, which they will be. They're in good shape. Win, lose, or draw, they're in good shape. And Tony Pollard looks great. Shout out Tony Pollard. He's back. He's
oh yeah,
healthy.
y'all wish y'all kept him low
Um,
key.
nah. And it's just that's what it's what it is, bro. Like they weren't going to pay money at that position this year. And maybe another year they'll throw money at it, but this year they just
How do
couldn't
you
afford
feel about using your first rounder on our boy from Boise State in the first round though? Because you know you're gonna have to get him in the first round. How would you
This is
feel
a
about
deep.
that?
This is a really really deep running back class.
It
I wouldn't
is.
do that. Yeah, I wouldn't do that just because you're going to get a guy. You're going to get a guy. You know what I mean? So it's like I know he's hype, and I mean he looked like a beast ass football player, but I you got to stay disciplined, man. You got to stay disciplined, and you've been disciplined when it came to this running back shit this entire time. You got to be disciplined all the way through, and selecting one in the first round, I that might be a lack of discipline, personally.
Nah, I definitely feel that. I feel that. All right, so we'll get to this last game here. We got the Seahawks against the Lions. Great spot for the Lions. A lot of that Seahawks D line was out. Boye Mafe, Leonard Williams was out. I forget the other kid, but D line was depleted. They took advantage of that. Jameer Gibbs with 2 touchdowns, David Montgomery with one, and yeah, I mean that Lions offense and how creative they can get, they did their thing. So
They did their thing. They did their thing. Like I mean, I hate they just they're good. Their running concepts go crazy. Um, everybody really for them is solid as hell. I like their team. I like how they ran. I mean, Ben Johnson, come on, be the next Cowboy coach. All you want, baby. Whatever you want, whatever you need, we got it. We'll get it for you. Like I mean, they got two running backs, 3 touchdowns. Like I mean, offensive line, beautiful. And I remember when they were sized during the draft when they got Penei Sewell, and it was like people were like, "Why are they so excited?" It's like, bro, they know what they're doing over there.
it's
And
like the Chargers getting Joe Alt. I mean, that shit's important, and he's one of the best tackles in the league, and they have one of the best O lines in the league. I think they were out Frank Ragnow, which you know is crucial. But when you have those other pieces, they're able to still lift that offensive line up. You give Jared Goff some time, and he's going to bake. He won a perfect 18 for 18 in this game,
he didn't even
and
get the game ball for that shit. He didn't even get the game ball, bro. That's crazy.
hey, he's used to not getting enough credit for his talent. So you know, keep lighting that fire under him. Kenneth Walker did his thing, 3 touchdowns, and when they needed to involve Zach Charbonnet, they did. But you know, they just didn't have enough. They were depleted on defense. In terms of the matchup, this was a great matchup for the Lions. And even though the Lions have been playing great, they're still second in the division because of those Vikings. So,
Right.
like we've been saying, it's going to be an interesting division. Jameson Williams, great deep threat. Another nice deep ball to him. He's like a better version of Rashid Shaheed for
I
him.
mean, I think they're different players. You know what I'm saying? That man caught 2 passes, had 70 yards. Rashid Shaheed fuck around have 7 passes for 70 yards. Like he's just he's just different.
Yeah, man. And then Sam Laporta hasn't even really gotten busy yet for him. So,
Because why am I going to target Sam Laporta when I can target Jameson Williams? You
or
know,
some god, or
it-
we'll pass it to Jameer Gibbs. He'll do a little something for us,
so
which
yeah, I think it's just one of
they
those.
didn't
I
even
think it's
really get it to him. Shit, you might as well pass it to Jared Goff for
right, right.
for a tutty. But that's the thing about him. I mean, the week before their punter Jack Fox, they got him a completion off a fake punt. Like, the Lions, the risky business. And in terms of what they got coming up, how do you feel about them? Your boys, your boys. That's
Uh,
tough. That
I mean,
because y'all had the good run defense against us, but this is what I said last week when we talked about it, and you were like, "Well, we beat the Lions before."
yeah, but
Yeah, that's
that's
cool,
going to
but
be the test. You got to. Hey, this is football, man. This is football. You know what I'm saying? This is football. This shit not supposed to be sweet, but you know what I mean. At the end of the day, Mozzie play like that again is all I can ask for. If I get Mozzie to play like that again, I'm not going to be that upset. You know, and if my linebackers can do their thing, it sucks. We got to play without Micah. We don't know how to do that shit. We do not know how to play without Micah, but we're gonna have to do it. So that's just what
sounds
it
like
is.
Goff is going to have a lot of time in the pocket, and I might be taking what is that? They're -3, so I'm not going to take a money line. I might buy half a point, make that 2.5 against y'all. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's looking pretty smooth. Then you got the
mm-hmm.
Seahawks, they got us, they got the Giants -6, and then got the 49ers. I mean, that's the thing about the NFL, lots of parity. Um, but yeah, I mean, this game kind of went how I expected it to go. I expected the Lions to come up early, use a lot of that running game, and then Gino was going to have to pass a lot from behind. And DK was being DK. I think JSN solidified himself as wide receiver 2 in
Right.
this wide receiver room. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing some rumblings. You think Tyler Lockett might be someone who might go to the Chiefs?
That would be nice. I mean, they would be able to get it worked out with him for sure. For sure, they would be able to get it worked out with Tyler Lockett. And I mean, if you're there, if you're them, you kind of gotta. That would be a nice. That would be actually a nice pickup because they would know how to. He would know how to work everything that they do. He know how to work the insides. He know how to work the underneath routes. He can still, if you want to take a shot with him deep, you still got him for that. Like, yeah, I mean, Tyler Lockett would be awesome, and then that opens up the door for JSN to do his thing. So I could definitely see JSN. I mean, Seattle making a deal like that. I know the fans probably wouldn't like it because he is a fan favorite. Tyler Lockett has spent his entire career there, so that would be kind of trash for him to be gone. But this is a business, and that's a position of need for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and when it comes to the Seahawks, it is a business, and the rookie AJ Barner scored a touchdown. They're pretty high on him, so it's like, and that's what the Chiefs need. They kind of
I
need
think he's a tight
a
end
veteran.
now.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's a tight end. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's a tight end.
Let's check it real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, he is a tight end. He is a tight end.
Yeah,
So I guess it's between him and Noah Fant.
right.
But hey, they could get creative over there. I think the Chiefs, though, they want a veteran receiver. They don't really want to take a risk on like a younger receiver that they kind of got to get up to speed. And we got to use you like this. We got to use you like that. Rasheed Rice might be back sooner than we thought. It might not be out for the season type thing,
You
but
sure?
that's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been hearing is that it's not. He didn't tear his ACL. Is what I've
No,
been hearing.
like yeah, I would because all I've heard is that they haven't announced that he has it torn. Like they haven't said anything. They haven't announced anything. But again, I could have been wrong about that, and they might have came out with something. But
Yeah,
yeah, the
like
last time
today
I
they
checked,
said the
he was
knee
doing more
injury not
testing.
as bad as they originally thought, and that's why I mentioned the Kansas City Voodoo Magic because he might be back this season. So I'm keeping him on my roster, and we'll get to some of them fantasy plays because I know you're dependent on hopefully him coming back if he can, and
Oh
like
yeah,
I
that's why
am.
I'm like, I'm over here like, yo, don't tell me no lie.
No, no, no. That's what I'm
Don't
saying.
tell me,
I was like, ain't no way, boy.
yeah.
Ain't no way.
I
But
wanted. I
nah,
mean,
that
I
look,
wanted it
look.
to be. Obviously, I wanted it to be a hyperextension, but I'm just like, yo, I don't know, man. I can see that shit being a torn ACL.
Yeah, they're saying it might not be. The imaging came back, and it might be just a lesser injury. I'm not a doctor, but
Right, right, right. But something that he could get back from this year.
yeah, this year, as in
Okay,
he might be back sooner than Pacheco type
okay,
shit.
all right. Well,
You
I
know?
would love that. I would love that. Good thing I didn't drop his ass.
Yeah, right,
Shoot.
right.
That would have been crazy. I would have had to fight somebody physically to get him back.
Yeah, fight him after you spend all your fab to get a guy you drafted.
Yeah, I was like, nah, bro. I actually did that in one of my leagues. I actually ended up doing that. I had to drop John Deontay Johnson. Is that his name?
Yeah, on the
From the
Panthers. Yep.
yeah, because my wide receiver group was so deep. But I kind of regret that now.
Nah, for real. Speaking of Panthers receivers, Adam Thielen to the Chiefs in the
He's
slot.
hurt.
Yeah,
He's hurt.
but they're not. They're thinking long term. Then again, we gotta see what's going with Rasheed Rice. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this was a long one. We're gonna chop it up tomorrow. We're gonna run through fantasy. By then, waiver wires should be done, but I think it's a good time to talk about fantasy, the strategies, when the fantasy playoffs are coming, what record you have, whether you have no wins, you can still come back. If you're at the top, you're undefeated somehow because it's been a crazy fantasy season.
If you
And
undefeated, good for you.
nah, for real, you're getting lucky. That's the luck part of fantasy if you're undefeated.
Yeah.
But now we'll get to that, but this is matter of fact. Yeah, we ran through a lot, but this is to us. This was week 5. This is when shit gets real. We got some teams going in the bye, and then you got to reload for them coming off the bye. So there's a lot going on. It's a very important week for a lot of teams, and these standings are going to change up. So hey.
Yeah. Matter of fact.
Matter of fact, make sure you like, subscribe. We out. We'll be back with the fantasy stuff. And yeah, y'all have a good one.
Have a great one.